Stop doing those diet or workout fads to lose weight. Use the tried and true approach from Rockin' That Ideal Life that helps you find balance while enjoying food in moderation and nourishing your body. Try the Lean 30 program at rockinthatIdeallife.com and let today be your last first day of your weight loss journey.
When buying or selling your home, you need to feel protected. Realtor Mike Burgoyne not only looks out for your interests, but as a St. Louis area police officer will make sure you feel safe and well-informed with every decision. Email Mike at strikewithmike.com and start the process today. That's Mike at strikewithmike.com.
Hi, everybody. This is Ken Wilson. Once upon a time, I broadcast blues hockey. I always listen to Let's Go Blues Radio. It's everything you'll want as a blues fan. Oh, baby.
After reviewing the play, the call on the ice, it was determined that the play was offside, no goal.
You do that, you go to the box, 2 minutes by yourself, and you feel shame.
So your sweetie finally comes to a game and you barely play. Is that more awkward than puberty, or is it pretty close?
Your mitt looks like a boa constrictor unhinged its jaw in an effort to consume a combat submarine.
Let's do that hockey.
Welcome to episode 27 of season 13 of the often imitated
p.m. Do you know where your children are?
That was awesome.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing this week.
Oh, man. Welcome to episode 27 of season 13 of the often imitated, never duplicated, let's show this prehistoric bitch how we do things downtown. We're the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Special thanks to our sponsors, rockinthatIdeallife.com and realtor Mike Burgoyne, for once again proudly sponsoring the show. Please check them out. Don't forget to check out our t-shirt shop at letsgoblues.com for the very best St. Louis Blues themed t-shirts at a fair price. And let's get our Let's Go Blues Discord server going. letsgoblues.com/Discord for more info, and a link is posted there to join. So check that out, if you would, please. We want to get some good blues discussion started there. It is Wednesday, April 10th, 2024. This is episode number 458 all time. And we're streaming live right now on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Cast it from your phone to your TV for the whole family to enjoy. To interact with the show on social media, our handle on all the socials is at LGB Radio. I am Kurt Price, and my co-hosts for the big show tonight are Bill Day and Jeff Ponder. The agenda for tonight includes discussion about tonight's win over the Chicago Blackhawks, obviously, the Blues' inability to beat the worst team in hockey, San Jose, and rival Nashville the last two times out will likely cost them a playoff berth this season. Bill Day's Save of the Week, and we'll talk Joel Quenneville and give our thoughts on the idea of him being allowed to coach in the NHL again. And the Coyotes are common in Utah, and Utah is probably about to get a boost in their Coyote population. So all of that and more on this episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. Gentlemen, how are you this evening after watching a 5-2 win by the Blues over the hated rival Chicago Blackhawks?
I considered asking you guys if you'd be interested in just doing the post-game show after about 5 minutes into the first period. Because I was like, it's not going to get any better than this. Let's just go ahead and start recording.
Right. But of course we do that, and Blackhawks storm back for 6 goals.
It was almost like reverse War Bacon. I could have been reverse War Bacon. It wasn't almost, but it could have been. It was on the table for the Hawks to make it their reverse War Bacon, but they didn't do it.
I don't have my headphones on. My God.
No, you don't. Are you listening through your speakers?
Never.
So unprofessional.
I know. Horrible.
It's amateur hour.
It is.
What is this, amateur hour?
Getting started at 10 o'clock just freaking threw me off, man.
Oh, man. Yeah, so we don't have any announcements or nothing else. Nothing.
Semi announcement, I guess. I forgot to put it in there. We are going to be announcing the dates and everything for the Ponder Cup coming up here in the next week or two. So we are still trying to narrow down time with the rink and We have a cause that we are giving to this year, a very special cause for a special person. So we'll be announcing that very soon in the next week or two. So stay tuned to me on social media. And, of course, on this show, we'll announce that stuff, too. Always a good time, always in November. So circle the date on your calendar for the Saturday before Thanksgiving is likely when it'll be.
Is that the same location?
Same location. Yep. Queenie Park, Midwest Sport Hockey, the roller rink out there.
Awesome. Always a fun event. So if you cannot participate on the rink, show up and participate in the festivities. Watch some, as Pondo likes to say, watch some bad hockey.
Yep.
And if you guys have the raffle again for the items,
we will.
Okay, then that's always a fun thing too. So
we always get great donations like Blues tickets, Cardinal tickets. There's usually a couple authentic jerseys. One year we had a Jim Craig Team USA jersey, which was incredible. Bill, I know there was another goalie jersey you wanted once. I can't remember what it was.
You had the Patrick Waugh, the red jersey. So might I recommend next year, if you can swing it, do the home whites from '93, and I will put like $400 towards that item.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
Well, I think I will be working on getting one of those.
And I will buy one ticket and throw it in there.
Yes.
And win.
And win.
and win. Yep. Yeah. And wear it every show of Let's Go Blues Radio.
Yes. Yeah. Well, just let me know when you guys decide to transition it to ice, because I should be fully back into it by then. But ice only.
We have talked about also doing an ice event, so that would be really awesome. We'll see. We may do something like that in the future.
I was going to go into the Conan O'Brien in the year 2000 bit, but that is a long time ago.
In the year 2000.
That was like, what, in the late 90s?
I remember he still
Mid-90s?
did it for like a year after. Like it was like 2001 and he was still doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. I guess the official beers of episode number 458. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. My handle is CPrice12. Jeff says JPonder94. Bill says Billy Blue Note 33. And ever since we switched it up. Every damn week I forget who goes first. Bill's first.
Bill.
It's me.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
me.
All right.
And I had a like kind of the ultimate beer party foul, and so I'm going big boy tonight. Ooh. I've got the 2023 Abraxas, because I accidentally while sorting through beers for the Eclipse popped the top on this, so it's been in the fridge and needs to be consumed quickly, so tonight's the night.
All right,
so
good beer.
Yeah, but a whole bomber's worth of it.
So
it's gonna be a fun show.
You mentioned the Eclipse, and we didn't mention that. What'd you guys do for the Eclipse? Real quick. Anything special?
But go ahead, Bill.
Did you go anywhere?
I spent it with Julie's family and a couple of our friends in the back parking lot of a Burger King off of Interstate 57 in Mount Vernon, Illinois.
So total Eclipse?
So you got the 100% totality.
Yeah, we got 3 minutes 58 seconds of totality, and
that's cool.
And I brought a couple of bourbon counties, so I was feeling good.
Good, that's
very
awesome.
Nice.
But yeah, it was a good time. Last time we did 2017, we went to Sparta and watched it from a Walmart parking lot. So only the best places for us.
Well, and I'm sure there were other people around you.
It was packed.
Yeah,
it was packed. It took us 2 hours to get back from Mount Vernon to Shiloh.
So I'll ask you since you traveled into totality, the range, was it a moving emotional experience for you? Because
this one seemed a hell of a lot faster than the last one.
This one was longer than the last one, though.
Yeah, it was. But it just like, I don't know, like it didn't seem as dark as the last one. Like, when it gets into totality, it kind of turns to night, but it was still very bright. So I don't know.
Yeah, I felt the same. So I was at 99% totality.
So was I.
Yeah,
Which is
so
a big
literally
difference. Huge difference between 99 and 100. It's not just, I mean, it's 1%, but the difference between totality, it's so dark versus 199. It's like, it's like you're wearing sunglasses outside.
Yeah.
You know?
I will say it is weird. Like the weirdest part for me is like hearing the crickets come out, and like my dog, I'm dog sitting. So I got 2 dogs right now, and both of them were just running around the house. Like, what the fuck is happening? So that kind of stuff's like interesting for me. Yeah, for me, it was literally it's 1:30. Let's go upstairs, put my sunglasses on or my special glasses on and sit outside. So that's what I did. I just sat on my front porch until about 2:05, 2:06 and was like, okay, time to go back to work.
Yeah. I mean, I went outside a few times and checked outside, but I could see the sun from my living room. Has a large window, and I could just look up and see it out the window. So I didn't have to go outside. But when I was outside, I could hear the birds chirping during the peak of it. And that was kind of weird. It was like dusk,
Yep.
So I don't know. I mean,
but
yeah, I you know what? It was interesting watching. I obviously stayed home, but watching the news while I was like making lunch that day, and hearing people's reactions and emotions like during and right after it happened. Some people were crying, some people were calling it a moving emotional experience. And they're like, man, it's just like, we're so insignificant, to see this massive celestial body pass in front of another one. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, the moon moves across the sky every day and the sun rises and sets every day.
Eventually they're going to cross paths.
I mean, if you want to be moved, just buy a telescope and look at the night sky. I mean, you'll see all kinds of, planets and stars and shooting stars.
I'll say, comets. Honestly, I get more moved by like when you can see like Jupiter, like way bigger, like tonight's the night where you can see Jupiter 20 times bigger than normal, and it's like, that's the kind of stuff I see that I'm like, okay, this is awesome. Right. And I will just sit outside and look up in the sky for hours.
Right. When you get out of all the light pollution and you can see the Milky Way, I mean, that is
Ozarks.
Yeah,
you go to the Ozarks at night. There's a lot. It's like you're in the Ozark hills, and it's pretty dark down there at night and it's pretty cool. You can see star clusters and stuff.
Salem, Missouri is the best I've ever seen it. I went down there for a float trip once, and we were just sitting out, and I seriously was like, I thought someone spiked my beer. I'm not even kidding, because I was like looking up, and I'm like, I shouldn't be able to see the Milky Way like this. This is crazy.
Is Earth out of orbit? Are we
right. Like, what is happening? Do we travel to another dimension? Like, what the hell? And everybody's like, no, that's just how it is out here. And I'm like, oh my God, this is worth the trip right here.
I don't know. It's just kind of, it was interesting to me to see how it affected people emotionally. And like, I mean, this stuff's moving across the sky all the time. They just happen to pass in front of each other. It's cool. It's neat. It's really cool to see, that it could get dark. And if you're in totality, I'm sure it's really cool, but you lost me on the emotional crying thing. I don't understand that, but to each their own, I guess.
Yeah, no, it was like the first one I had, a little bit of more of an emotional reaction. This one, it was cool, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of cool, the temperature did drop too, so that was interesting. Yeah.
And that was cool. The whole time we were there, like once the it started crossing over, even before it was visible to the naked eye, it cooled off significantly, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is cool. All right, back to beer.
Beer too.
So I am doing some white lager from Schlafly. One of my favorites. It's a good hazy lager. I'll add that the Baked Beaver says Pabst here, and I'll add that is my second beer. I got a PBR ready to go. So
the second best of all the cheap beers, right?
What's the best?
Stag.
I think I like PBR better, but Stag's good. Stag is good. All right, Curtis.
I have no issues drinking Stag. If I haven't had like a more flavorful beer, right, before it, and if I just go walk into a bar, I'm like, what do I want? Do I want to spend a lot of money on beer, or do I want to spend very little on beer? That's kind of the mindset I'm in.
It depends on the bar I'm at. If I go to like a Crafty Chameleon or like an iTap,
yes,
I'll get a really nice beer. But if I'm going to like Hot Shots, I'll be like, just give me a PBR. You know,
you know what I'll do?
I don't need anything special.
My first couple will be like a Stag, but if I'm in a nice, if they, a lot of those places though don't have Stag and a row of nice beers. It's just it's your more dive bars, I guess, in a way. They have the Stag mostly, but yeah, I mean, I'll finish with a flavorful beer because if I go the other way, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
all right, what do you got, Kurt?
What do I got? Oh, yeah, I am next, aren't I? I keep finding these Imperial hot chocolate milk stout from Four Hands. It's a rainy, cooler day, so I figured this would be a good day for this. Four Hands. What's the pairings on this thing? Oh, campfires. Yeah.
Eat a campfire.
Yeah, I don't have one. I got a fake fire on the wall in the other room. That's about it. Close enough.
Close
it's gonna have to do. So those are the beers of the shoe. If you're having a beverage, and I know some of you are, the PBR was already shared by Big Beaver. Why not share in the chat, even if it's the water? Let us know.
Justin Scott says he'll take his whiskey. Cheers.
What kind of whiskey? You can't just say whiskey, right? You got to say what it is.
Right. Is it bourbon?
Is it bourbon?
Is it Scotch? Is it Irish?
Is it one bourbon, one Scotch, one beer? After being a dad jokes do seem a lot funnier. So,
oh man, I laid out a good one that you guys are welcome to use in your next Zoom or Teams meeting. Somebody said they were off camera eating lunch off camera, and I responded in the chat, and I was like, "You don't have plates? Why are you eating off your camera?"
Oh,
and they were like, "Oh, Jeff with the dad jokes," and I'm like, "That's right.
Eating lunch off camera." That's not even a well-constructed sentence.
No, it's not.
All right. Blues did play the Blackhawks this evening at game time was 7:00. The Blues could have been eliminated from playoff contention if they had lost in regulation and the Knights had won tonight. Neither of those things happened. A simple regulation loss for the Blues would have clinched a spot for the Kings. So, wow, what a start to this game. Hofer gets a start in net for the Blues, and Mrazek was in net for Chicago.
Was he, though?
He didn't have to be. I could have been in net.
I think
put up the exact same numbers.
I think he was off getting a hot dog for the start of the game. Hey, hot dog guy over here.
What's
3
that
goals.
Loud
buzzer going? What is that?
3.
Yeah,
3, it keeps going off. 3 goals on the Blues' first 3 shots. 4 goals in the first 4 shots. Right.
So he has the infinite goals against average.
Yeah, he was in for the first 3. And then
so what is his GAA? I was trying to find that earlier for the game because the save percentage is 0.
The game is infinite.
Right, the game is infinite.
It's like a pitcher's ERA if he doesn't record an out and he's taken out of the game.
His save percentage is 0, and his goals against average is infinite.
It's not too often you see a goalie pulled with an infinite save percentage. He typically makes at least 1 save in a game before being pulled. Right.
Yeah. That is true.
And I was, when they made the change, I was like, the last time we played the Hawks, Arvid Soderblom had like the most abjectly bad numbers in the NHL. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. We chased their starter, and now we get the chum backup. It's gonna be great.
He has all his numbers are almost laughably bad,
and he allows goal on his first shot.
Yeah, he's improved since the last time we saw him. He had like 6 wins in 7 games or something like that, but.
Yeah, he had a few wins recently, didn't he?
Yeah, they said something about how he only has like 5 wins on the season.
Yeah,
and 7 or 8 wins on the season. And he said that apparently, like in his last 4 games, he's had 3 of them. So I'm like, before that, he was even worse.
I mean, it's a bad hockey team. It's a bad hockey team with bad goaltending.
They're really bad hockey.
And I tweeted after it was 3-0, I think 3 or 4-0. I was like, you know what? Okay, so Blues fans who are so down on this Blues team, calling them a horrible, awful team. No. This team is a middle-of-the-pack team. The team we played tonight.
I've seen people say this year, though.
Team.
I've seen people say, though, that they prefer where the Blackhawks are at because they're accepting the rebuild. And I'm like, so you have to be literally infinitely bad in order to rebuild? I don't think the Blues need to do that this time around.
And people who say they want the rebuild, they want the high draft picks, I'm like, be careful what you wish for, because go look at Buffalo. Go look at Ottawa.
Yeah.
They're Edmonton.
Edmonton.
I mean, they haven't won anything. What?
Edmonton has not gotten past the second round since 2006.
Expectations this year should be higher than. But anyway, there are teams out there that have had high draft picks for 10 years, and they haven't done jack shit. So I mean, it's not a recipe for success. Yes, high draft picks are great when you get them. And you get excited about these guys. Sometimes they flop. Sometimes they're great. But that doesn't mean your team's going to be great after so many years. It helps. It can help. But there's a lot of ways to build a successful team. You don't have to suck. And the Blues, obviously, in their entire existence, have tried not to suck. Right? They've always been a competitive team, mostly. Always been a competitive team. They've playoffs 25 years straight. And they had some really good teams where they couldn't over the hump and win the cup. Years where they were a cup favorite, just didn't work out. So I mean, I had a conversation tonight with a guy on Twitter who couldn't believe that Blues fans are rooting for their team to make the playoffs, and I'm like, I can't believe that you're rooting against your team for the difference in a two or three playoff draft spots.
I'll say if it's okay, if I'm Chicago, I think at this point I'm probably like, okay, let's just lose. Let's just lose, get better chances. But when you are on a fringe spot, and they've been there all year on the fringe, how can you not root for your team to make the play? Even last year, after all the trades, they started winning after O'Reilly and Barbashev went for a little while. And people were like, no, you got to lose. And I'm like, they're like 7 points out of a playoff spot right now. I'm rooting for them to win.
I understand wanting to get better. But the idea that the only way to get better is to just completely tank and get these high draft picks over a number of years that's not the only way to do it. And I mean, it could happen. I mean, I get it. Some teams like to do it. Some teams do it too because they want to rebuild and they want to cut salary. They don't want to be at the cap. They don't. There's a number of things. Be careful what you wish for, because Blues fans, I tell you, this season the expectations were that they were a bubble team, that it was going to be close. Right? They're a middle tier team, and Armstrong was hopeful they'd be near the top of that middle tier, but they're not. So be careful. And Blues fans knew this going into the season. And look at social media; it's a shit show. People are pissed off. How do you think they're going to feel if the expectations are to be a bottom 5 team and they're playing like a bottom 5 team, like San Jose and Chicago?
I want to say to those people who are rooting for losses and for the Blues to be bad to get higher picks, you better be spending money and going to the fucking games then. Because guess what? The average fan ain't doing that. If the Blues are where the Blackhawks are, I know we say we're a great sports town, which we are. Last time that happened, there was nobody showing up to games. So those of you who are rooting for the Blues to lose, you better be going to games so the team can be making money in the short term.
We had to deal with Pronger. The team got sold.
Yep. Right.
So it's like, be careful what you wish for, people.
Had to go through the Eric Johnson debacle, right? We get a number 1 overall pick, and we wind up with, a career second pair defenseman instead of Jonathan Taves.
I mean, if the situation arises where we happen to be a bottom 5 team and we get a top 5 pick, top 3 pick, whatever it is, I'll embrace the pick at the time. But in no circumstance am I rooting for that situation to happen, because that's a long haul up a hill that you may not get up for a while. I mean, you may get halfway up the hill and tumble back down again, and a few years later, halfway up again, tumble back down again. It may take you 12 years before you get back to the playoffs.
Lights Sound Geometry says, last 2 years we could have been rebuilding more and then come out of it. what else should they have done?
I mean, I'm excited about.
They basically are rebuilding. What do you want them to do?
I'm excited that in 2 years we're probably going to have Snuggerud and Dvorsky, as regulars in this lineup.
Dean, Snuggerud, Dvorsky, Neighbors should be. I mean,
Dean, he's not made an impact on the score sheet yet, but he's looking like he belongs up here too.
And he hustles. I like his hustle a lot. And I know a lot of young guys will step up and hustle, but he really, really
Bolduc,
hustles.
Who I said wouldn't play here more than 35 games, whatever. He's got 22 after tonight, I guess. Games played. So next season,
really,
unless he's
that many
out in the off season, he should be on this roster next season.
Kurt's eating some crow.
And
Did you see he got JR did an article on him in front of the show? Jeremy Rutherford did an article about he belongs here.
Yeah, and it's obvious.
Yeah.
It's obvious he does after watching him play here. Yeah,
I do want to call out Patrick Yoder's comment here. Just got home from the game, guys. So much to digest. Let's go Blues. What an anniversary gift. That is not you seeking a happy anniversary, because I'm not giving it to you. I am not going to tell you happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. He is a staple on Blues Twitter. So Blues X. I can't say X. I can't say Blues X. I hate it.
No, it's Twitter. It's always Twitter.
Blues Twitter.
Don Chambers, who maybe that is a Twitter comment. God, I'm always so amazed when I see those. I was at the game. Glad we won. Was rooting for the Oilers. I'll be rooting for the Wild versus Vegas. Sure. Yeah, good man. That's what you should be doing. Hey, it's a snowball's chance that they make the playoffs at this point. But there's a chance.
They're a 91-point team, right? Yeah. I mean,
89 now.
89, but
89.
We're going to break 90, right?
Yeah. And guess what the Athletic Dom's model had us at before the season in the preview? 80 points. 80 points.
Yeah. 80 points, right? Yep. Yeah, he said we were a
bottom team.
What did he say? We were a bottom feeding team. We'd be competing for a draft
lottery pick, yeah.
And didn't he have the Blackhawks much closer to the playoffs?
Way over Bedard. I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to say we were all like, "What the fuck? How can you put Chicago?"
Remember when they
overreacted
when they got Fleury?
Yeah, they got Fleury and Jones.
Playoff team.
They were a playoff team.
They were like almost last overall. It was bad. I don't. Yeah.
All right, let's get back into this game. So yeah, Jordan Kyrou. My favorite part of this was that he was on hat trick watch for 57 minutes and 14 seconds of this game. Like, he gets the second goal, and I thought he's literally got he might break the single game goal record.
I had that thought as well in the first period. Like, is he gonna get 8? Is he gonna knock Sittler off the perch?
Yeah,
then he started passing.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay. In this situation, like in a game where you're up by a lot, and you already got a couple goals, I get it's a weird thing going on between him and his team line mates, because he doesn't want to seem selfish and piling up goals while in a blowout. So he's going to pass a little more, which I completely understand. But his teammates are also going to pass him the puck more to try and get him the hat trick. So I think there was a weird dynamic going on there for a little bit. I really liked Kyrou's game, obviously, especially early. Yeah, he had some drive in this game. And once he got that second goal, for a while there, he was driving for that third one right away. Didn't come. Thought he got it late, but obviously a high stick that waved off his goal. So,
Big Beaver says he was trying to force it too much. Nothing was coming easily after those first two. Yeah, that's true. There was a couple times where I saw him just kind of flip one at the net, and I'm like, normally Jordan Kyrou is not doing.
He did have
but he's just trying.
He had a chance from the slot where he kind of turned and wheeled and fired, and he whiffed on it, and it fluttered off his blade. And I was like, that was a pretty good chance. I thought it was early. It was still in the first period, so that was a golden chance that he just kind of goofed up there.
Don Chambers again says, my son took me to the game for my 63rd birthday, so glad for 2019. You never know what could happen. Mentioning your birthday, I am not going to wish you a happy birthday.
you get custom birthday invitations on, I think it's Hallmark from Weird Al, and it's all automated.
Oh yeah,
right? So you can just punch in a name.
Yeah, there's
a million names on there you can choose from, and it looks legit. I mean, it looks real. Like he's actually, it's pretty neat.
There's a couple I think that have made their way to YouTube on there as well, which is pretty cool.
And it's free to try.
Yeah, so I thought it was funny in this game, talking about the early goal barrage. Almost every time throughout the rest of the first period, and he started correcting himself after that. And I know it was because there was a goalie change after the third, so his mind wasn't set. But John Kelly, every time he talked, 3 goals on the first 3 shots. And I'm like, John, it's 4-0, and it was 4 goals on 4 shots. Like, what is wrong with you?
I'm going to say something about.
And it wasn't until the second intermission, I think second period, I think somebody finally said, like, John, it was 4 goals on 4 shots.
I'm going to say something about John Kelly. I like John Kelly. I saw John Kelly speak to a small group of people at SIUE, in a private setting, and he's a very nice guy, down to earth guy, real likable guy. But the last year or two, couple years, has his call slipped to you guys?
Mm-hmm.
He's missed. He's not as accurate on what's going on.
Yeah, he's missing the small details.
Yeah,
like tonight there was a play that he basically said it was a turnover, but it was actually a really nice poke check by Perunovic that took the puck off the stick, and it's like
things like that.
Yeah, it's they do seem to pile up.
Yeah,
especially late in the year.
I've noticed that. So hopefully nothing's going on there, or it's just a sign. You're getting old and shit happens. But
maybe all he needs is some rockinthatidlife.com before games. Take some energy, get your energy back up. Maybe that's all he needs.
A little focus.
John, if you're listening, email our friend Dustin at what is it, Dustin at rockinthatidlife.com? No, rockinthatidlife at gmail.com.
I felt like we were on the Truman Show for a second, where just everyday life's going on and all of a sudden break into an ad. I watched that with my kids the other night. So,
speaking of breaking into an ad, we might need to do that.
Oh, you want to do it now? Oh, after the first period discussion? How about that?
I mean, do we have anything else that we want to talk about with the goal barrage in the first? I mean, nice goal by Krug. I'll say on the defensive side for the Blackhawks, they're a fucking mess. God. For being coached by a defenseman, Luke Richardson, who actually I've heard is a very good X's and O's coach. My God, they left the point men wide open. They were puck chasing, getting caught in the corners.
It's almost like
it's
almost like they don't care.
Yeah, at this point it really is. I think it's really just like these guys are like, God, the season's so close to ending. Let's just get.
And there. I think after it was 3-0 early, it was an absurd lead that early in the game, and then 4-0. I feel like, all right, fuck this. We gotta do something. We gotta actually try. Otherwise, it's gonna be 12-0.
Well, then they started playing a lot more physical,
and the Blues did too.
Which the Blues were already doing. Which I did too. Loved.
I loved the physical play. That was nice. In a game, I thought in a game where the Blues are up by a lot. It could be a blowout, and it's being physical. There could be a brawl in this game.
Yeah,
but and there were a couple fights, but didn't.
Well, according to the stat sheet, there was no fights.
That was Well, they only gave roughing to Tucker and what's his name, which was weird.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. So I thought if you watch that Tucker and was it Tucker and Vlasic, 18:31 of the second. That was a fight, and it was a great hit by Tucker on Bedard.
Oh, yeah.
Great fucking hit. And that was something else I loved. The Blues were going after Bedard, and that was awesome.
Hard.
Which they should. So they both dropped the gloves, and they both get roughing penalties.
Vlasic still had at least one glove on one hand. I don't know if he dropped both gloves.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. But, it was kind of half on his hand.
Either way.
Yeah, I know.
He jumped Tucker.
Yeah.
And
how did he not get the instigator?
He was ready to
go.
Was there... And that's what I said. Justin Falk for the exact same fucking play in the neighbors hit on, was it Kunin in the game against San Jose? He got an instigator penalty for doing the exact same fucking thing Vlasic did. Was that the only... Do you think that was why they only gave him roughing? Because they thought, well, if we gave him fighting, we're going to have to hand out the instigator.
Why wouldn't they want to hand out the instigator?
Then
because it's Bedard, and he's got to be protected at all costs.
I did think that. That's an awful long line of what ifs to go down to make that call too, though. I guess
they did whatever they could not to call fighting majors in this game, right? And
I thought that was terrible because it was a clean hit, and then a guy it goes a beeline right for Tucker, and but one of his gloves didn't come off, so that was kind of weird. Tucker's gloves come off right away,
and that seems to be the standard of this game, right? Because the other one, the other scrap, Blade didn't get his gloves off, right? So yeah.
Well, Tenorti ripped his off right away, and again, that was only roughing penalties. I'm like, come on, man! He dropped his gloves and then was throwing punches too, like. And I'm not. Hey, that's fine. I'm all for it. It's just crazy to me. How do you not hand him a 5-minute major for fighting in that?
Yeah, my favorite of all time when that happened was Brett Hull and Dave Gagne back in the North Stars days. Dropped the gloves and threw haymakers at each other and got 2 minutes for roughing.
Because it was Gagne and Hall.
I hope that video is out there. I'm going to look at it while we're on break.
So let's see where we at? Bolduc scored on an ice passing play for the Blues' fourth goal after the goalie change, and and Thomas picked up his 82nd point of the season in the first period, assuring he'll be at least a point per game player this season. But Hawks only had one shot on goal in the first period, and then the physical play. Like we said, I enjoyed the physical play. That was something that. I was glad to see the Blues doing along with scoring. It was a very entertaining first period, to say the least.
That passing play on the Bolduc goal, good Lord, that was beautiful, beautiful execution. And at that point, that was after that goal, the Blackhawks started going after the Blues right away.
I don't blame
them. Just like they're pissed.
I don't blame. I don't blame. I don't blame Vlasic for going after Tucker after the Bedard hit. I've said this before. It was a clean hit, but that's just protecting your elite players, right? If a guy is going to take a hard run at a player, let him know that if you're going to do that, you're going to have to maybe answer for something, clean hit or not. I like the protection for your guys. So even when it's a Blues player checking Bedard, yes, I do appreciate the integrity of the game to protect your star players.
I will say I don't remember. I want to say it was when Patrick Waugh was coaching the Avalanche. I want to say it was David Backes when he went after McKinnon and tried to fight him late in the game. And McKinnon was 18. And I think it was Waugh who was like, yeah, way to just go after a kid out there. He was all pissed off after the game. And I'm like, he's an NHL player. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter how old these guys are. If they're on the NHL ice, they should be treated at the same standard as everyone else. So I did love seeing the Blues just be like, Bedard, you may be a phenom, but we're going to fucking hit you every chance we get. And they did. There were some great hits on him.
You remember that Michigan goal you pulled on us? We do.
Yeah, right. That's why Bennington's not in tonight. We didn't want him to kill you.
Yeah.
To close out the first period highlights, Chicago sucks. So we'll go ahead and we'll cover we'll just briefly discuss the second, third period and move along in this show. We're due for a break, so we'll cover that on the other side of this break. You're listening to Kurt, Bill, and Jeff on Let's Go Blues Radio.
We'll return after these messages.
We've all tried a diet or workout fad at one time or another, but it always ends the same, right? We either lose the weight and then get back to our routine, but then put the weight right back on, or it just simply never takes hold. It's time to move into a habit-based program that focuses on organization and simplicity. Rockin' That Ideal Life's Lean 30 lays it all out for you with the correct food to eat, how to meal prep, and even sprinkles in plenty of healthy recipes. With Lean 30, you'll get the full ID Life arsenal, including energy for that needed kick, a tasty Nourish shake for your needed fiber intake, Slim Plus to help control your cravings and provide a metabolic boost, Lean capsules help bust those sugar cravings, and ID Nutrition gives you the added punch you need that takes the guesswork out of what supplements to take. Join the many who are seeing success and make this your first day on a new program. Visit rockandthatidealife.com to get started. And remember to email Dustin at rockandthatidealife@gmail.com for an extra 10% off exclusively for Let's Go Blues radio listeners. Start your transformation to the confident, vibrant person you've always wanted to be with rockandthatidealife.com.
St. Louis hockey fans know how it takes a reliable captain and a team of hard workers to achieve major goals. As a police officer and a hockey player, realtor Mike Burgoyne would wear the C in any situation. As a leader in the home buying or selling process, Mike has surrounded himself with a team of trustworthy inspectors, lenders, and escrow officers that work together more cohesively than Hall & Oates. And as a member of many teams in his life, Mike knows the service our first responders, veterans, nurses, teachers, and yes, even you Let's Go Blues Radio listeners provide the community, so he offers special rates to those individuals. Find the value in Mike's leadership and teamwork today by emailing him at mike@strikewithmike.com or calling 314-753-4060. He'll work closely with you and only show you the homes that match your goals. That email again is mike@strikewithmike.com or call him at 314-753-4060 and succeed with your new teammate today.
And now, back to Let's Go Blues Radio, the longest running St. Louis Blues podcast with Price, Ponder, and Day.
My bad. I was in the chat. In the chat, Dan Riley asked who scored the Blues' 5th goal, and you posted that correctly that it was Thomas, but for some reason I read your first post as to Dan, then skipped to the second one and said it was I misread it. I said Bolduc. And I'm like, no, that was the 4th goal. So my bad. I misread that completely. That's
all right. Yeah, it was. I did find out how to comment on Twitter though, so that's exciting. It's not. Well, no, it's not comments. It's not replies or anything like that. You have to click on the video that gets posted with the show, and then there's a running chat that pops up alongside it. I had never seen that before.
Yeah, I don't.
So that's.
We stream to it. But...
So if you're watching on Twitter, join us in that chat there. We can we'll converse with you.
So in the second period of this game, the Hawks run the power play to start it off. They hit 2 posts in this power play. And Hofer made a couple big saves in the first 5 minutes of the second period. This second period and part of the third, it seemed like the Blues were just took the foot off the gas mode. It was just Hawks had some chances. They hit some posts. Hofer made some real nice saves on chances, high danger chances. But luckily they didn't score a couple more, to be honest. But the Blackhawks did score to get on the board on a fortunate bounce off the backboards after a missed shot, wide far post on a 2-on-1. Puck comes kind of back out the other side. Khrushchev is on the near side, grabs the puck, tucks it in near side, inside the near post. Hofer can't get back in time, and the Hawks get their first goal of the game. This reminded me of Hofer not getting back across to this post in time. Reminded me of what was discussed on the air last game. When Binnington was in net, and they talked about how Binnington has made a concerted effort to be faster post to post. And I was like, that's interesting, because I said, we talked about it in the show, and I was like, yeah, one of Binnington's weaknesses is his speed post to post on guys that go behind the net, trying to wrap on the other side. He was notoriously slow at getting across, or he'd come across and fall short of that post. And almost cost us against Dallas in the fucking 2019 playoffs in overtime.
But turned out to be the greatest save of that series.
Ooh, I mean, that
by millimeters.
Yeah, because when watching that game, you're like, get over, get the fuck over. And you think the series is over. But that and I have noticed this season he's been a little better at that. So
I heard that he had worked on that. I think it was 2 off seasons ago. Really worked on getting to his post quicker. So I think you can Hofer that is. And I think Binnington. Well, I know
they talk about Binnington being the one that has worked on it, because that's been a weakness of his. His weakness, major weakness, was post to post.
Yeah.
Especially from guys cruising behind the net trying to stuff it in the far post. So.
Yeah, I thought he just gave up on the play, quite honestly.
Hofer?
Slid too far out of position. Kurashev had the presence of mind. If Hofer stops himself short, he gets back there. But he's let himself slide out and just kind of gave up on the play. Like, it was almost like a practice play, and I didn't like that.
I might have said this last time we played the Blackhawks, but I just look at the names that are popping up, and I feel like it's just one of those off-brand NHL games where it's like made-up player names.
It's like
Philip Kurashev, Korchinski, Landon Slager.
Like how
these
it's
are all
like how the Japanese
hockey.
Like how the Japanese think American last names are.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
Yeah, right.
You get the weird, like, oh, that's kind of an American last name, but not really. That's weird. Sounds made up.
Entwistle. I mean, come on.
So, and Alexandrov, interesting little play in this period, in between whistles, right? Tucker Alexandrov was hit in the face by a shot, or I guess flipping the puck to the linesman, right? More like a shot, though. Wasn't really a flip.
Took out his tooth.
I know. Hits Alexandrov right in the mouth.
In fairness, he flipped it right where the official would normally just like have his hand and he'd grab it, no problem. I just guess he didn't notice that Alexandrov was standing right fucking there.
He did have some zip on it, though. It wasn't an arch. It was more of a line drive.
That's why, and again, I always say, because I'm in beer league, so I don't even try it. That's why, like, I never try to, like, flip the puck to the ref. I always bend down and pick it up and throw it to him. Because I'm like, I don't want to kill anyone.
Who was it? Was it Walker that shot it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Walker.
You kind of tell by, the one bad angle they had of him skating by, like, oh shit.
Yeah. Do you see the official, the linesman's look on his face?
That was the ref. It was like,
was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that was bad. Anyway,
I
lost
can't
a tooth.
penalize him for that.
I think Tucker owes him a nice steak dinner. For that.
Walker.
Oh, which he's gonna have to chew it up for him,
or cut it into real small pieces like you do for your kids. Right?
Yeah, right.
Put Alexandrov in a little high chair and give him
He's gonna have to baby sparrow that shit.
Click that tray in front of him and it'll cut up his food for him. Yeah, that was a weird play. Kind of reminded me of Kane getting hit in the face with a puck. Was that 3 or 4 years ago? Slow-mo, I think it was warm-ups. Just boom, right in the cheek. You guys remember that? Oh, that was HD camera, gets the skin flapping and everything.
Oh, that's the best part. And again, I felt awful for Alexandrov. Didn't feel bad for Kane. But when you see the puck, just slowly come towards him, and you can tell he didn't even see it either, because his eyes did not refocus, and so he's looking one way, puck just hits him, and you just see the what the? Yep. I mean, he's probably like, what the hell?
You're probably not expecting to get hit by a puck in between whistles in the face.
When the last thing you saw is your teammate had it on his stick.
Oh, yeah, we talked.
I don't know. It's like if you're on the bench and you have a teammate that takes a slap shot, right?
Wrist shot. It was a wrist shot.
In warm-ups.
It was a wrist shot.
Yeah, that's so much better.
Well, my wrist shot is like a slap shot, so.
Have we talked about this before? My memory's hazy.
No, Bill. It's a bad dream.
Hey, Bill, did you know that I was in the media?
No.
It's those stories. Do you know my dad worked for Stag Brewery in Belleville?
It's post-concussion syndrome, 22 years later.
Still foggy.
You got the long concussion.
Yeah, but you got the long concussion. Well, you did get the special treatment from the lady upstairs.
With the ice
no, that I think is what inflicted the most damage. The drunk bartender.
We did more damage to our own team than we did to other teams. You hit my brother in the face. That was
A lot of times that's the case.
It really is. You hit them. You don't know where the puck's going half the time.
No.
Especially with people as talented as us.
Right. Well, and it was just 100%. It was not the best decision, even though I did it a lot, was take wrist shots at the half wall by the bench. I did that a lot. It just got away from me. Not smart. Third period in this game. No. Thomas scores on a rebound in front to make it 5-1. You want to talk about a goalie sliding out of position. Soderblom was out of position on this play.
Soderblom out of position?
Oh, yeah. Bad rebound, right? Makes a save, bad rebound. He's going one way. The rebound goes the other back into the slot. And he's like in front of the post, and Thomas has a wide open net. This was, this is when I tweeted out right before this goal. Actually, was when the Blues were on like cruise control, taking the foot off the gas for a while. I would have loved to have seen the Blues just pound the Blackhawks into the ground in this game. Up 4-0 early. Let's beat them 12-0, 12-2, whatever. I would have loved to have seen a high scoring game. Just after a inconsistent, frustrating season, right? You just want to just beat your rival into the ground, just for fun, right? I mean, 5-2 is 5-2 is fine, but it really could have been 8-9.
Yeah.
2 points that I want to make with that. One, Chicago Blackhawks after this game, they are now over the century mark in a negative 102 goal differential. So we threw them over the century mark. And then two, you have to think if the Blues win that meeting December 9th that they lost, bad one, they're 1 point out of a playoff spot right now.
Well,
if they beat San Jose,
they've got a two-game.
If they got more than 1 point out of 3 games against San Jose, we're in a playoff spot right now.
Yep. That's the kind of stuff that you look at after a season. You look at after a season and you say, like, you circle those dates on the calendar and you say, that's where we lost right there. We can say all we want, and we'll say this later, I think, that the Nashville game was kind of the death nail, I think. But it's not the game itself. If they win against San Jose, we're not even concerned about it. But that was
the Blues never did recover from the loss to Nashville 2 games ago. To end Nashville's losing. Well, Nashville had lost 9-1 or 9-2 or something to Colorado, I think it was, and they came back and beat the Blues, and then went on that massive tear, right? And the Blues kind of struggled for a little bit, and that the Blues never recovered from that. They never got back into the playoff heat. Never got back into a playoff position after that. Got close a little bit, but then lost 3 in a row, and then boop. And like you were talking about, that game against Nashville hurt, that loss.
Yes. Yep.
So
Don Chambers agrees with you on this game. It would have been nice to absolutely put a beat down on them. Yeah, if you come out of this game 9-1, you're coming out of the season going, well, it sucks we didn't make the playoffs, but that game against Chicago was a lot of fun.
Yeah, late in the year. Why not? Baked Beaver. We can talk about that a little bit. Are we going to talk about Falk being hurt yet again, like he wasn't hurt the whole time? Yeah. I mean, we speculated that he was hurt. I mean, he was legit hurt and out for a while, and then came back and wasn't playing well. And everyone speculated, well, seems like he's still hurt. And then he was playing some bad hockey after he came back and never got better. So,
love seeing this stuff from Twitter, guys. You Twitter commenters, keep it up. This is awesome. It's relatively new that you can get comments on Twitter now, so this is very cool for us. He says, Pete on Twitter says, against the worst teams, Columbus is at least sneaky good, but San Jose, come on. Yeah, again, we'll talk about the San Jose games coming on, but again, and I know that you can't go 82-0, obviously, but games against Chicago, San Jose, yes, even Columbus. You got to win those games. You have to.
Since we beat San Jose in the playoffs in 2019, I think they've pretty much taken it to us. since then. We've had a hard time with them since, even when they've sucked. So, and this season is.
I'll take the cup win.
Oh yeah, sure. But you know what? The Blues losing to San Jose this season is a lot like Vancouver not being able to beat the Blues when Vancouver just missed the playoffs.
In 06?
Was it 06?
Yep. I think it was 06.
Okay, yes, I think you're right. The year that they missed the playoffs barely, and they couldn't beat us, we were like the worst team in the league, right, or one of the worst.
And I want to say we played them 4 times.
Yeah,
and beat them
4-0. And that was the reason they missed out, and they pointed to that and said that's the reason why. And this,
yeah, I remember even in their like post game or postseason discussion with whoever the GM was at the time, he was like, you can literally point to the 4 games against the St. Louis Blues as to why we didn't make the playoffs. And I'm like,
yeah,
yes,
right.
I love hearing
it's
that.
It's so satisfying because you don't have much to root for as a fan when your team is that it sucks that bad, but you do take a lot of pride in knocking other teams out or preventing them from getting in. It's like, if we can't get in and if we can stop you, we're going to try and stop you from getting in. So that's like a really just a vindictive asshole way to fan. But I love it.
I know. And as a fan,
sure.
fan, you love it because it gives you something to like hold on to. Like you said, when I think of the 2006 season, I think of 2 things. Going to a ton of games because it was cheap as hell. So it was awesome for me.
I was.
And 2, beating Vancouver every time they played them because I hated Vancouver back then. That was still in the aftermath of the Todd Bertuzzi days, and I hated those Canucks teams. So I loved it. Justin Scott, I hate that we lost to San Jose, but the Blues have had a bunch of games that we lost that were rough ones. I agree. Like, I look back at that. It was the first home game against the Golden Knights. They went out on a 2-0 lead, and were playing great. Kyrou had one of the best goals of the year, and they ended up losing. I think they blew it in the third period. And like, yes, that's another one of those. It's like, yeah, they should have won that game. But again, like, you need to win the games that you're supposed to win. And again, I'm not even saying go 3-0 against the Sharks. Go 2-1 against the Sharks. 2-0-1 against the Sharks. You can't lose every game to one of the worst teams in NHL history.
D Brown SS says, I don't think the Blues have lost to San Jose since the 2019 till the season. That can't be right. I could have sworn that San Jose has played pretty well against us since 2019. Maybe I'm wrong though. I thought that was the case. You guys go ahead.
Where's Puck Guy 14?
Yeah,
he needs to be here to
Puck Guy 14, friends of the show.
Rub this shit in our face.
Why is he not on every one of our show chats? What the hell, Puck Guy 14?
Yeah, he's
it's
friend
only,
of the show.
It's only like 8:56 where you are.
Yeah,
friend of the show, Eric from Teal Town, USA, San Jose Sharks podcast. Great guys over there, and they do tune in once in a while and chime in with some comments. So if you're listening, Eric,
they do summer shows like we do. So I'm sure they'll be doing a lot of draft and prospect talk going into the draft this year. So if you're interested in that, check them out. They are fantastic. Teal Town, USA.
They have spinoff shows too, like Pucknologists and
they got a couple other ones.
After Dark.
That's
like
their marquee show, though. I believe is what they say in the business.
The marquee show.
Mm-hmm.
The marquee show.
Yeah.
Jason Marquis show.
The Hawks did score on a break-in to make it 5-2. Kyrou did score, or he put the puck in the net anyway, with less than a minute to go, but it was hit with a high stick prior to Kyrou touching it. Obvious call. High stick was way above the crossbar.
Wasn't that Walker?
Walker touched it. Kyrou put it in, though.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure. Could be.
You might be right.
I've been wrong before, but I thought it was Kyrou. And, whoever shot it, good on them for not stopping, because who knows, maybe he could have seen it wrong. Could have been the other team's high stick that hit it, So
the Blues were 3-0 last season against the Sharks.
Okay. I could be wrong here.
Oh, my Lord. They were 3-0 the year before that.
I'm really wrong.
Wow.
What was I thinking about? What was I thinking of then?
You couldn't be more wrong.
They did lose in a shootout in 2020, 2021. They lost in regulation that year too, 5-4. So 2020, 2021 was the last time they lost to the Sharks before this season.
Okay. So, I mean, he's mostly right. He's way more right than I was about that. So, thanks for the heads up there. I could have sworn that San Jose had beaten us a number of times since 19. Oh, and you know what? I'm thinking Winnipeg.
Winnipeg has had the Blues.
That's what I was thinking of. Winnipeg. Yeah. My bad.
Winnipeg definitely has. And I'll say, Kurt, I think you are 0 for 2 because Justin Scott agrees it was not Kyrou. Okay. He says it was Walker and Blais. That's what I thought too. Okay. I'm pretty sure it was Blais that high sticked it and Walker knocked it in.
All right. Well, I'll just quit the show then.
Hey, welcome to the wrong club. I'm wrong.
Yeah, this is uncharted waters for me here. This is absurd.
Yeah, okay.
This is absurd.
We might need to jump in. I'll handle it. There's a little thing going on here in the YouTube chat, but I will handle it.
Oh, is it
Puck Time with Pete? Are you a real person?
Psychobabble bullshit asshole.
Yeah, right. I don't think Puck Time Pete is a real person, so we'll see.
Puck Time Pete?
Puck Time with Pete. Sorry.
Puck Time with Pete? I didn't see it. Okay. Something inappropriate?
No. Just talking about ticket prices.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So after a quick 4-0 lead in this game, things calm down a bit for the Blues. Would have been nice to give the Hawks a beat down and run them out of the building, but 5-2 ain't too shabby. Yeah, so this
Puck Time with Pete is a real person. I want to apologize. The way you came in talking about cheap tickets, I got really nervous, but he was commenting on us getting cheap tickets in 2006. So Puck Time with Pete, I am terribly sorry for that.
Would you delete his stuff?
No, I have not deleted anything.
Okay.
But he is not a bot. He is a real person. So I apologize for that.
I'm not even seeing his stuff. It's in the YouTube chat?
Yeah.
No, it's
on Twitter. It's on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Look over here, Kurt. Over here.
You said YouTube
sorry.
chat.
This is so confusing. I thought it was YouTube.
In the show chat.
Puck Time with Pete. Tell you what, Puck Time with Pete. You are a good dude. It seems like you might have some kind of thing to promote. Free promotion here. What would you like us to promote? Sorry, Kurt. Continue.
Oh no, it's totally fine. Blues now have 89 points and will likely finish over 90 points. And as mentioned earlier, Dom's model in his preseason predictions at The Athletic had the Blues as a quote. I believe he said something along the lines of bottom feeder, and the Blues at 80 points. So,
did you notice the name of the show tonight?
Bottom Feeders Edition. Yeah, very nice.
That was on purpose.
Yeah. Nice tribute.
It's always fun to, what's funny about that is not just us. Everybody who, like, when Dom says something that rates the Blues negatively, it's like people come out of the woodwork saying, "Wow, he's been." It's not known that it's known that he does not like the Blues. He's made it known he doesn't like them. The Blues have fucked over his model a number of times, so he's just it's just interesting how this isn't just us on the show that has questions about Dom's models and things. It's like people who are paying attention, Blues fans, who know that Dom is typically negative about the Blues, mostly.
Puck Time with Pete. Tuck Time with Pete adds, appreciated fellas, had a podcast running until last year, trying to get back into it. I'm guessing your Twitter handle is Puck Time with Pete, so I recommend people go follow him and check him out for when he starts doing his podcast again.
What's his what was your podcast name? I guess Pete is your name. And what Blues
no,
podcast?
My name's Jim.
But yeah. Blues podcast or a different team? I'm curious.
Yeah, or maybe it's full NHL.
Full
maybe
NHL. Yep.
Maybe it's not even hockey. Oh no, it's Puck Time. Okay, no, that would be hockey.
You would think. All right. Let's see. So, okay. it was brought up today by Brandon Kiley, who is on 101 ESPN radio in St. Louis. He's part of the Blues pregame and postgame show too. Is that right? I think. Anyway, he posted on Twitter pure speculation for a trade: Kyrou and Buchnevich for Brady Tkachuk. Would you?
I don't know Brandon Kiley. Should I?
Yeah, it's BK and Ferrario.
Oh, that's BK. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I should know that then. Yeah, I mean, that's clearly, that is pure speculation.
Oh, sure. There's no rumor there.
I would do it.
Steve Stais said not trading Brady Tkachuk at the deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
Oh, for sure. As a Blues fan?
Absolutely. Sure. Give me Brady Tkachuk. Put him with the young guns coming up in the next couple of years. Fucking A. That's glorious. I think it was Strickland commented. I don't know if it was in this thread or somebody else asked the same question BK did. But Strickland said something about just name the price for Tkachuk, and they'd pay it. So, from the Blues, the only one that I would consider is Thomas. Not
trading.
And that's just because Thomas and Tkachuk together. Holy shit!
Well, that's the draw, right? Not just Tkachuk being a hometown boy and St. Louis kid, but I mean they're great friends. Thomas and Tkachuk. So
Thomas and Matthew Tkachuk on a line together, but Thomas and Brady Tkachuk are your 1-2 centers.
True. I still am irritated the Blues couldn't get Matthew Tkachuk. I would have traded anything for him when he moved from Calgary. Assuming he wanted to come here, which you've heard conflicting reports that St. Louis was one of the teams he was considering, but they didn't offer near enough to Calgary. So, and he would have come here, but whatever. I would have traded just about anything for Matthew Tkachuk. I'd rather have him than Brady.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I just don't think the Blues had what Florida was offering. You know? Like, I look at the deal, and I know in hindsight it's easy to say what they got wasn't that great. But at the time, Huberdeau was coming off a 100-point season.
Yeah.
Weegar looked like a world beater on defense.
You don't think that Calgary would have taken Thomas and Kyrou for Matthew Tkachuk at the time? 2 elite prospects. I mean,
did they get a first-round pick too?
They got a haul, and everyone thought that Calgary got a haul, and rightfully so. But it hasn't really worked out very well for Calgary.
No,
so
it is not.
Huberdeau's not turned out to be who they thought they got.
No.
Weegar's really good, but Huberdeau needed to really though. Huberdeau had to replace both Tkachuk and Johnny Gaudreau, and that was not going to happen, right? And that's
so it was Tkachuk and a 4th rounder for Huberdeau, Weegar, Cole Schwint, and a 1st round pick.
It's a lot. I mean, at the time it was a ton.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know if the Blues could have matched that. The only thing they could have maybe done was give them more draft picks, but at the time, I think Calgary was like, we're still a playoff team. We don't want draft picks as much. So I don't know. I don't know if they would have considered Thomas and Kyrou a bigger haul than what they got.
Yeah, but if you're bringing in Matthew Tkachuk, you don't want to give up Thomas for anything.
Right. I know.
Right? It would have been that, and Parayko was bad at the time. If Parayko's healthy and playing like he did this year, maybe you could do that with a couple other pieces. But
man, this defense is looking pretty bad without Parayko right now.
Yeah,
I mean, really bad.
They would have had to have done something else. They would have. You can't right now this year. Imagine this year without Colton Parayko. They're not sniffing the playoffs.
No. I mean,
the guy hasn't been the best defenseman in the league, but he's been the best defenseman on the Blues.
Yeah, he's been a top tier defense. He's been top 20 defenseman in the league. Would you say top 25?
Yeah, I think so. Ken Morris, I always love when our listeners do this. Sorry, just tuned into the show. Was going to watch a 3D modeling tutorial and got notification the show was on.
So he chose us over a 3D modeling tutorial.
That is the best
high praise.
endorsement we've had this season.
I think.
Yeah, watch us
he's-
instead of 3D modeling tutorials.
I think he's gonna feel ripped off.
Yeah, right. I just love when our listeners like apologize that they're like, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, Justin Scott missed the live show and he sent me a message like, dude, I'm so sorry I missed it. I'm like, man, it's okay. we're not like, Justin's not here. This is bullshit.
Justin Scott says Thomas and Neighbors and my favorite Russian Toropchenko are off limits. Toropchenko is an interesting one because he's like the sneaky key guy to this team.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom six guy that's just sneaky good, impactful. But at the same time, if other teams recognize that, he's a valuable bottom six guy. He's a guy that you could toss in a trade to get a team over the hump and agreeing to a trade too. So
I think in our
Ken
wildest
Morris.
dreams, he's our Nichushkin, but he's not that.
Yeah. Maybe a Nichushkin light.
Yes.
Ken Morris, Matt Tkachuk in a Blues jersey would be awesome, but would Kirk trade Mr. Ponder for Matt? LOL. There's not a question. He would be driving me to Calgary right now.
In a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll ship your family to you. Get out.
So I think it's every Blues fan's wet dream to have a Tkachuk and another Tkachuk in a Blues jersey. Not just because Keith Tkachuk played here, but because they're hometown kids. They grew up here. They're Blues fans growing up. They're St. Louis boys. And, man, it'd be so great to have a Cavallini situation, but with the Tkachuks, right? I mean, much better players than the Cavallini brothers, but the Tkachuks here.
What would be I'm trying to think overall, if you had both those guys on the same team, brothers,
the
Sedins. That's the only thing I can think of is the Sedins.
The Sedins were a unicorn situation though, where they refused to be anywhere, just be separated. They weren't going to play anywhere else, and they didn't want to be separated. So that's it was whatever. I mean, it was they didn't. Well, they got to the final, didn't win it, right, against Chicago. So
they went to the final against Boston.
But that's right, Boston. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yep.
How could I forget Jamie and Jordy Ben? I mean, that's a perfect 1-2 punch.
Right. Okay, so any more comments here? Yeah, Justin Scott echoes that getting Tkachuk would have been great, but Thomas leaving would have been disappointed. Paul and Ken Morris says Paul and Gino Cavallini loved them. I was a big Paul Cavallini fan. I was never a big Gino fan. Love Paul Cavallini.
Yeah, I think I had more Paul Cavallini autographs than any other player.
You still have that glove? Cavallini's glove?
No.
Oh, what happened to it?
It went missing.
The glove that he had modified because he had a finger sawed off.
Actually, so I think it was Mike Redden that bought it.
Okay.
And I
Wade
had it for
Redden?
a while. Yes, Wade, former, all-time Blues great. Wade Redden. Yeah.
I actually love Justin Scott's comment about this. He says, I love Matthew, but if you got rid of Thomas, you would not like where this team would be. I actually agree with him. I think without Robert Thomas, even with a Brady or a Matthew Tkachuk, who's your number one center? I mean, you would have to go out and trade for one. Well, you don't have one on this team right now.
You wouldn't have gotten rid of O'Reilly. You'd have re-signed O'Reilly.
You would have had to have kept O'Reilly.
Yeah.
And hoped that he would have had the season this year that he's having in Nashville.
And you would have signed.
None of us thought that was going to happen.
No, because he was pretty bad here. Played much better in Toronto and had a good year in Nashville. But yeah, he was bad. He had a bad season. He just couldn't do anything. And on the flip side, there, then if you did try and resign him, you could have had him for cheap.
Yeah,
so,
he was lost without David Perron.
It seemed like it. Yeah, unfortunately,
I agree with our new best friend, Puck Time with Pete. He says, regardless of hometown, Thomas would be the reason a Tkachuk comes here. No way. So yeah, I agree with you. I think it would just not make sense to lose Thomas in a Tkachuk trade. So I will say, I don't think the Blues had what Calgary wanted for Matthew Tkachuk. So it had to be somebody else.
Hopefully that changes in the near future. Hopefully the Blues
We'll
have
see.
something that some team wants that we could get Matthew or Brady. I don't want to be too picky, but I'd rather
I
have
think the
Matthew.
ship has sailed with Matthew. Personally.
Yeah, he's in Florida. It seems like he's having
He's
a good time. It's a
signed,
good
he's
team.
happy. It's a great team. I could see Brady wanting out. Not
You know what?
Matthew.
Could
in a couple
come here
years,
late in the career, right?
Yeah,
right.
In
when he's
3,
ready
4
to settle down and have a family. Right
Yeah.
now, he's going to live that single guy life in Miami.
Oh, do
What a
not
better-
blame him one bit.
Not a better place in the world to do that.
Listening to the Will Smith song on repeat all the time.
I mean, you never know what's going to happen.
That's
in
what
3
I
or 4
think
years.
people in Miami do.
So it teams can take a nosedive in a hurry. So if with 2 or 3 years left on Tkachuk contract, maybe he gets dealt somewhere. Whatever, we'll see.
The Huizenga family buys back into them and does like they did with every other sports franchise.
Right, just got him.
Got him.
Just have Bill Laurie buy the Panthers.
Oh, there's already a basketball team here? I don't need them.
All right. So the rest of the games, we'll just kind of breeze through here. Previous Predators did beat the Blues 6-3 in Nashville Thursday night. This is Jeff marked this.
This
as
is my
the
comment, so I
death
won't make
nail,
you
right.
say it.
No, you
Yeah,
said
I
earlier
won't
in the
make
show.
you say it.
Earlier in the show, you said
I
death
feel
nail,
like
right?
this was the game when it ended. It was because that was kind of how I felt. Like I was up for this game. I was standing more than half the game. I was so into it. My wife was in the other room because she knew that this, because I was talking about it when she got home. Like, you ready? Blues and Predators tonight. Here we go. And she's like, oh my God, you're going to be annoying, aren't you? And I'm like, yep. And so she didn't even want to watch the game because she knew that I would be like up in arms or yelling. And so, yeah, the whole game, I was just a wreck. At one point, I looked down at my watch and my heart rate was at 122. I'm like, I'm literally standing. That's all I'm doing. And so, yeah, it was just that game that, and you kind of thought maybe they'd mount the comeback. I love the way they played in this game, but at the end of the day, it didn't come through. UC Saros played phenomenal. The Blues dominated this game. I'd love to see Money Puck on this. I don't know if you looked that up, Kurt, but I feel like the Blues win this game 90% of the time.
Money Puck had the Blues winning tonight 61.8 to 38.2 over Chicago. And if we back up
that seems terribly low.
Yeah. They're probably not taking into account how bad the goaltending was to open the game.
Blues and Predators. Yeah, here we go. So I'll pull it up here. So
all right, so go ahead and run it, and I'll just add this.
This was the revenge game. The revenge game from what was it? February 17th or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
That
and
hurt us bad.
Black Friday.
Yeah, Black Friday too. They got their asses kicked that game.
So in this game, the 6-3 win by Nashville. Money Puck has the Blues winning 66% to 34%.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's
the Blues,
about what I figure.
They deserve to win this game, and they
Right.
did.
Right.
Yeah.
They got out goalie, which is the worst kind of game for me.
And it was Binnington, and it just sucked because it was a bad game for him. And
he didn't play well either, which is
his.
I don't want to say I don't want to say it's concerning because we've seen him step up and play huge in the most big moments ever. But it was concerning that some of his worst games have come
down the stretch,
late in the year, down the stretch.
The Anaheim game was just disgusting. Not that I got to watch it live, thank you, or even on DVR. Fuck you, Spectrum. But yeah, he's in a rut at the wrong time of the year for that.
Yep, that's concerning because he's been so good this year.
Yeah,
so good. And just there's been a couple games here, and there was one last week. I'm drawing a blank on who it was. Well, I think I got the schedule right here, but there's been a couple games lately where it's like we've gone in saying biggest game of the year, and Binnington didn't show up. And I hate to say that because I think he's normally not. It's not an issue, but this year it has been.
The also one that hurt was the overtime loss to the Sharks. on Saturday, 3-2 in overtime. And the Blues, we talked about it earlier in the show. The Blues have now gone 0-3-3 versus the Sharks. 0-3-0 versus the Sharks this season. I'm sorry, 0-2-1.
No. Blues are 0-2-1. The Sharks
0-2-1.
are 3-0.
3-0-0, right.
Mm-hmm.
So you get 1 point out of a possible 6 versus the Sharks.
And there was a lot of memes that came out from this, which one was that I pulled in a couple here, but my favorite was the Sharks. It was it's the Lion King, and it's Rafiki holding up Simba. And it's so they changed Simba into the Sharks logo, and it says 18 win season. And then it has the Blues as Rafiki, and it says 16% of their wins. It's unfortunate, but it's true. And another one, and this one just hurts to read out loud. The only team that did not get a win against the San Jose Sharks this season is the St. Louis Blues. Mm-hmm. Every other team has beaten them at least once.
And right now we're 3 points behind Vegas. Vegas has a game in hand. And we have 3 games left. Vegas has 4 games left. So, I mean, if we just win 2 out of 3,
right.
Versus.
Or if you go to overtime 3 games, you're tied.
Yeah. I mean, well, you'd have 2 more points.
Yeah.
But still be out. Yeah, that's true. You'd be 1 point out then.
Yeah. But still, yeah. I mean, beat Nashville one of the last 2 in the game that you should have won when you outplayed them, but you didn't get the goaltending. So you lost that game. And so those 2 points that should have been gotten, and then just 1 win against the Sharks this season. That's 4. We're ahead of the Knights by 1 right now.
Yep.
So I mean, and I think Justin Scott or somebody mentioned in the chat earlier in the show that you could point out a handful of games this season that you could say, well, the Blues should have won this game. I'm like, yes, you can. Every team can do that. However, these stand out as really bad ones. Especially later in the season when you have to win these games and you don't. So, I mean, it's different earlier in the season when, losing to a team, we'll make it up in the long run. No, you've only got a handful of games left late in the season. You have to win this game. You should be coming out with your A game against the teams that you should be beating rather handily, and you don't. And that's
I think the game that really stands out to me, and yes, all these Sharks games, yes, of course. The one that stands out to me really bad is the Columbus loss. Mm-hmm. That was the one right before the All-Star game, and they just did not show up. It was clear they were ready for their long break because they had an 11-day break or something.
They had a winning streak, right? Up until that game. Yeah. They could have finished strong. And I think it would have been maybe 6 wins in a row or 7 wins in a row.
Something like that.
Something like that before the All-Star. And they lost that game and then came out of the – I can't remember if they won out of the break or not, but that was a bad game.
I think they lost.
They lost me out of it. But it was – I think going back to it, we talked about just like that was the first really bad game for Matt Kessel. Yeah. Right? And he didn't get to start coming out after that break. But it's just – how can you be so bad against the worst teams in the league? And, that's going to be what costs this team this year.
Don Chambers on Twitter says, am I wrong? Aren't both Vegas goalies injured? That's our chance. Last I heard they were still injured.
Yeah.
And Vegas lost tonight.
Yeah. Aiden Hill was in net tonight, I thought.
Was he? Was he back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Before he got hurt, he had some stinkers.
Oh yeah, he's had some bad games.
Yeah.
So in this game, San Jose game, the Blues scratched veteran forward Kevin Hayes and defenseman Torrey Krug. These were just healthy scratches, folks. Hayes had not missed a game yet this season. He was also scratched again tonight. So I have to wonder if he has really fallen out of favor with Bannister. I don't think it's a rest situation. I think it's this guy fucking sucks. I don't need to be playing him.
I've been down on him all season. He can look good at times in certain situations, but he's really rough to watch just in open ice. He's just not good.
He's so slow.
And it's crazy to me how much he's actually making. What his contract? I mean, Philadelphia's paying most of it. We're paying what, $3 or $4 million, whatever it is. He's making like 7 something this season. That's bananas.
Yeah, he's like 7.5. I remember when he signed that deal with Philadelphia. Philadelphia fans were like, "Who? Like what?" And I think it was because they were like low on the salary cap, and they were just kind of like, "All right, here's a free agent. Let's throw some money at him." But it's like, why did you give him so much term?
I think in certain situations he can be pretty valuable. But man, just 5-on-5 coming up the ice, he's terrible. I don't like him at all.
He was an all-star last year.
This year he has not been good.
No.
I mean, he can look good on the boards. He can look good in front of the net.
I like him on the PK. I like him on the PK. His speed doesn't kill us on the PK.
I don't mind him on the power play as long as he's not like active. Put him in front of the net.
Yeah.
Don't put him on the perimeter because he's not fast. He's not a great passer. He doesn't have a great shot.
And he's not great in the corners either for his size.
I think he's good at holding people off the puck when he has it. If he can keep his body between the other player and the puck, I think he's good at puck battles like that. But man, just if he's got to move, if he's got a stick handle and move, he's rough. He's rough.
Yeah, I'll admit I was excited to have. I thought, man, third line center. This is exactly what the Blues needed. He is not at all what I expected. I mean, I knew he was slow, and I knew that he had some issues. Some fans had called out before. I didn't think he was this slow, and his passing isn't even that good. I thought he was supposed to be a really I don't want to say top end, but for a third line center, a good passer. He's always missing passes on the mark, always, and it's just not good.
I was excited to get him because of the amount of salary Philly was eating.
Yeah,
I thought, okay, all right. I mean, this is possibly a pretty good player that we can drop down to the third line, not paying a whole lot, and he can be productive down there. I mean, there was a stretch in the season where he was actually putting up some points, right? But I don't know if I want to, say that a whole lot of them were secondary assists or whatever, but he could look good at times around the net and made some nice plays. But
he had a hat trick game, right?
That was a good game. I remember thinking, damn, Hayes looks on tonight. It's not just that the puck's finding the back of the net for him. It's he's in the right position. He's skating well. He's sticking with the play.
I just don't think he does enough well to warrant having him out there as much as they were putting him out there. He's almost a fourth line guy to me.
Yeah.
So,
well, back to this game. I also wanted to add one thing. I didn't like the starting of Hofer in this game. I hated it. Actually, I was pissed because, and again, I'm not, because you got a back-to-back. So you're going to play Binnington one of those two games. And again, Hofer has not been the reason for the Blues losing to the Sharks. But Hofer's 0-2 against the Sharks this year.
I thought you meant tonight. Sorry.
No. I'm talking about the San Jose game.
Okay.
I didn't like it. It's like Hofer is 0-2. Give Binnington a look against San Jose. Yeah. Let's see what he can do, because it's not like you're playing you're not playing the Golden Knights the next night. You're playing the Ducks. Put Hofer in against the Ducks. Switch it up. See what Binnington can do, because Hofer hasn't been able to get a win against the Sharks all year. Yeah. I didn't like that. Thought it was just again, I go back, and Bill, I think you're fucking 100% spot on when you say that they have a calendar and they mark on it, Hofer's playing this night, Binnington's playing this night, Hofer's playing this night. And I think they just stuck by that. They were like, oh, Hofer is going to play against the Sharks a week ago, and he's going to play again against the Sharks on Saturday. Switch it up. It didn't work the first two times.
And why would you give all of the games against San Jose to your backup anyway? I get that, okay, San Jose is supposed to be a bad team this season, whatever, or if you map them out a month in advance, they're not playing well. But yeah, they 2 losses against San Jose the first 2 games. Try something different. Yep. You do it differently with the lineup. Why not do it in goal? I mean, if you're struggling to score goals for a few games, you change lines around, right? You change it up. Why not do it in goal?
I didn't like it.
I liked it only because it gave us our save of the week. Do we want to do that now? Do we want to do that now? Let's do that now.
That segue.
Except Bill doesn't have the video pulled up.
Just vamp for 2 seconds, please.
Okay, I'll just add. Also, Eklund. Eklund is a hell of a fucking player for San Jose. His first career hat trick in this game. That kid could shoot the damn puck. I mean, I saw some people say that they didn't like the goal against Hofer in overtime. Fine, I get it. It was on the rush. He didn't really cut off his angle well. But, man, that was a hell of a shot. That kid could shoot the puck. He's got a good career coming in the NHL.
Well, are you gonna rip on Hofer for losing the first two and this one, or are you gonna praise him for, or are you gonna allow that one to slide because of the great shot by Eklund? Which is it, Jeff? You can't play both sides.
I mean, I'm not blaming Hofer at all for any of this. It's the fucking coaching. I'm sorry, Drew Bannister, or whoever it is making this decision, Ken Hitchcock, apparently.
Oh, God.
I don't care who it is. You made a fucking mistake. This should not have been Hofer's game.
I agree with you.
It did give us Bill's save of the week, second period, penalty kill against the Sharks. Here we go.
And away
All right.
we go.
So none of this pretentious, Mike Liu featured lead-in tonight because
I forgot it. Sorry.
It happens. It happens when you're doing it in the second intermission of the game that we're watching.
We should have that up here as an overlay just to put it up just in case.
Yeah.
time.
Point taken. You know what would really help? A producer. But
Agree.
So save of the week this week goes to Joel Hofer. Michael Granlund had that guy has been the only NHL caliber player, I think, for the Sharks most of the season. He went in there and filled a role and has done a great job. On this play, he isolates down low, actually draws Matthew Kessel towards him, as we see right here. Great sauce right out in front to Thomas Bordeleau. Thomas Bordeleau, son of Montreal Canadiens, one-time high draft pick Sebastian Bordeleau. And he makes a great play. Gets this real good, quick shot off. Hofer makes the beauty save. The save every goalie wants to make. The Statue of Liberty, right? Grab it.
Except actually hold on to it, right? Hold on to it.
He held on to it. It just absolutely great form. Look at the control, right? Pushes off the post, gets across, gloves in great position, makes the save.
That pass is just unbelievably beautiful.
That's go out and buy your sauce toss game and learn to do that, because oh my God, look at that! Just feathers it right on the blade. Perfect shot, but perfect positioning. Amazing save by Joel Hofer. Despite him being, not given any love on this podcast for getting this start tonight. I guess we're really more denigrating our friends, Drew Bannister, Doug Armstrong, and Ken Hitchcock for sticking with their plan with the goalies. But that feels so good. So good to make that save every time.
That background gives me a headache looking to that.
I know. All right, so let me ask you then, Kurt or Bill, with that save, we mentioned the Statue of Liberty. Is that a momentum thing there, or do you think that was more? Because I think sometimes, we know sometimes when goalies do that and they do the whole Statue of Liberty, they're like, look at me, I've got the puck, fucker. That's kind of what they're saying. Was that
what it is.
You are putting it in their face. This goes back to 1986. Patrick Waugh against Thomas Sandstrom when he played for the Rangers makes that save. Every goalie since has been doing that every year, getting ready for the next game. That's the dream save. And we're putting it in your face.
So was that one, you think that was him doing that, or do you think that was momentum?
No, I think in this case it was actually Hofer's. Just he's pushing across, throws the glove out, has to balance himself as he's falling kind of face first, and that's just what you do, right?
Yeah, I agree.
You catch it, it's the motion, and you fall forward.
Oh, my goalie did that a couple weeks ago. He made a glove save, and he did the whole like arm arch, and I was like, dude, that was a 40-mile-an-hour shot from the blue line. You didn't need to do that.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Do players need to put their arms where their head when they score? No, they don't have to, but they do.
Hey, I'm not knocking it. I love it. I think it's great. Can we talk puck time with Pete? Can we talk about Parayko holding his own against Kostin? That was a hell of a scrap.
I was surprised.
Was
nice. I've never seen Parayko. I can't recall the last time he fought.
Well, let's look it up. Let's see if he has ever fought before.
I'm sure he has, but I just can't recall. It was a good fight. And you got to I mean, I've seen Kostin play a handful of times since he's left here.
That is his first NHL fight, according to hockeyfights.com.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't recall him fighting before. And it was, I mean, you'd like to see a big, strong guy like that just destroy somebody, but Kostin's no slouch. Puck time with Pete says he fought Landeskog and Richie. Richie, are you sure?
Okay,
Parayko, that is.
Parayko, right?
Yeah, and maybe those weren't official fights. I don't know, but according to hockeyfights.com, that is his only fight listed.
Oh, okay.
And Justin Scott's his third career fight. Okay, well, you guys are probably correct.
we have been wrong a handful of times on the show tonight.
Hey, we learned tonight that hockeyfights.com is actually run by Craig Button, renowned Colton Parayko hater.
Yes.
And we would never know that. Well, we wouldn't know that, but I will never forget your interaction with Craig Button. That was classic.
My interaction, getting laughed at.
Him laughing at you, yeah. About Parayko being the 5-tool guy, future Norris
Justin
winner.
Scott, no, it's his third. Puck time with Pete, guaranteed. Justin Scott, they said it on air. Look them up on YouTube. Fuck you guys, we got it. All right, third fight, we got it. I'm just kidding.
Go complain to hockeyfights.com. Not us.
Yeah, go tell them, because we're going off them.
And while you're there, tell Craig Button I love him.
Does he really run that site?
No.
I was going to say. I thought you were kidding. Okay.
Totally kidding.
That'd have been funny.
It's called leaning into a joke.
Gotcha. I gotcha. So you want to talk about the Duck game?
Yeah.
No. 6-5 shootout.
So real quick, let's do a quick recap of points. So when this game ended, the Sharks game, they lost in overtime. St. Louis was then 7 points behind the Nashville Predators for the second wild card in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And then after this Ducks game, which they won 6-5 in the shootout, the Blues moved within 5 points of the Vegas Golden Knights, who have 2 games in hand for the second wild card spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And as of right now, after this Blackhawks game, in case we did not mention it, they are 3 points behind the Golden Knights, but the Golden Knights do have 2 games in hand.
And 4 points behind the Kings.
Yeah. One of those games in hand, unfortunately, is against the Rockford Ice Hogs.
Yes, pretty much.
Well,
or whoever we played tonight.
Don't we play? They play Minnesota and Vancouver plays. Where am I at here? Vegas plays Minnesota next. They play them Friday, and they play Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So they got,
and then they play.
They could conceivably lose both those games, and then Chicago and Anaheim.
Yeah.
So if they lose both those games, then they'd have to lose one of the final ones against Chicago and Anaheim, right? And then we'd have to win out, something like that.
I thought if they just get one more win, we're done.
Well, we can get 6 points, right? We have 3 games left. Yeah, we can get 6 points, left. So we can finish with 95, and so they need 3 points to tie us. And I assume they have the tie break. Or do we have the tiebreak against Vegas?
Didn't
we beat them head-to-head twice?
Whoa. Yeah, because the tiebreak right now, they're both at 42 wins.
Well, it's head-to-heads first. Head-to-heads first tiebreak.
Isn't it ROW first?
Head-to-heads
first.
Are you sure? Really?
Pretty sure, yeah.
I thought head-to-head was first.
Vegas Golden Knights have 38 in ROW, and Blues have 37.
Why the fuck isn't head-to-head first?
I believe that's second.
Two teams
regulation or overtime wins. Because the reason that ROW is first is they encourage people to not try and win in the shootout.
Well, I understand that, but if two teams are tied in the standings, their games head-to-head, how they played against each other, should determine who's the better between the two.
Take it up with Gary Bettman.
I think I remember having this conversation before on the show and not liking it. So this all sounds familiar to me.
that is the closest you will ever hear Kurt admit to have been wrong.
Yeah, so they need 3 points out of their final 4 games. If we have the tiebreak for whatever it is, if it's tied in ROW is now, who knows what's going to be then. But
all right, let's get through this Ducks game. We got a lot to still cover here. So,
yeah, we do.
Blues swept the 3-game series against the Ducks for the second consecutive season. So that's nice to see that. Apparently, they can beat the Ducks, but they can't beat the Sharks. That makes perfect sense. And congratulations to Matthew Kessel. We were making the joke earlier. Kind of it's a game now. Who gets their first NHL goal first? Is it going to be Kessel or Perunovich? Well, apparently it's Matthew Kessel. And that, again, what I love about Kessel is I know that at this point he's been in the NHL a while, but he just always looks like he's making the veteran move. It's rare you see him make like a rookie mistake, as they call it, which we've seen him make a couple, don't get me wrong, but just the veteran presence of him to just like on that play to step in when he did, get open in the high slot, and then just wrist it at the net. Just love that for him. And again, big goal for Matthew Kessel. Congratulations to him.
He went upper blocker.
Mm-hmm.
We have to give credit to Robert Thomas for insane vision on that play.
Yeah.
Come on.
Dude, he had some passes tonight that I was just like, oh my God. How you doing that? How you doing that?
How you doing that?
How you doing that?
He's coming back around, right? Thomas is again, because for a while he was like
he was
stagnating like himself. Yeah, he wasn't making those elite plays, and his vision seemed to be lacking for some reason. But he's making those plays now. So I don't know if he was like hurt or tweak something or whatever, but he seems to be playing more like his old self now. And also, Puck Time with Pete is now emailing, apparently, hockeyfights.com about it.
Good man. Puck Time
right.
with Pete. Thomas also adds, as we're talking about him now, 81 points on the season after this game. That's an NHL career high for him. Second St. Louis player to get at least 80 points in the past 20 years, joining Vladimir Tarasenko, who had 82 in 21-22. So awesome to see. Will he get to 100 points? Not this season, obviously, but do you think he'll have a 100-point season in his career?
I think if the Blues can build a better offense around him, I think so. I think if because this season, he puts up whatever he's going to put up at mid-80s and points, whatever it's going to be, upper 80s.
Right.
If the Blues can fill out the forward and have a deep group of forwards, I think so. I think it's 15 more points. Sure.
You got to get him some more help. I agree.
Yeah.
I mentioned at the start of the year, my biggest hole was you needed another top 6 winger. I would even say at this point, you need another top line. Like you've got the Kyrou, Thomas Buchnevich line. They need another line where you can mix and match players, and they just don't have the talent. Saad has been a revelation to end the year, but outside of him, Schen's not a second-line player anymore. Kapanen never was. Blaze not. You need to get someone, and you got to hope maybe that's in Bolduc and Dean.
Yeah, I have been happy since they separated Thomas and Kyrou. It's been several weeks.
Yeah.
You figured with Neighbors going out against San Jose, not being available for the game tonight, that you'd see Thomas and Kyrou reunited. But no, we got Thomas and Bolduc, and I really like that combination. I thought they looked really good together. So, keeping Thomas and Kyrou separate, I think for the rest of the year is good. But yeah, bring in Dvorsky, bring in Snuggerud in a couple of years to round it out. Unfortunately, we're stuck with Kapanen and Hayes next year. So next year might be another tough pill to swallow.
Looking ahead to, I was just looking at Vegas's schedule, and they do have, like we mentioned, 4 games left. All 4 are at home. And if you saw the recent players poll on the hardest places to play in the NHL, T-Mobile Arena in Vegas is number 1. So
not looking good for us then.
I mean, they do play Minnesota and Colorado next 2 games. Those are teams that can conceivably beat Vegas. It's the 2 after that I'm most concerned about them winning.
Right. And the Ducks did knock off the Kings the other night. So
yeah. And yeah, anyway, the role of spoiler we talked about, teams get up for that. So we'll see.
Puck Time with Pete basically says he looked it up. All 3 fights are on hockeyfights.com. He's right, but let me clarify. Still a problem with hockeyfights.com. Colton Parayko has 2 different player pages on hockeyfights.com. One has his fights with Richie and Landeskog, and then the other one has his fight with Kostin. So, don't know what's going on there, hockeyfights.com. Fix your shit.
Maybe one of the pages is healthy Parayko and one is injured.
There you go. They're like, it's got to be 2 different people.
So, anyway, the strength of schedules and who plays who aside, at this point, I think you root for the Blues to make the playoffs and just see what happens,
Yep.
And if anything, it makes you want to tune in to other games. If you have ESPN Plus to watch other games, just kind of tune in if it's a close game, watch some hockey and root against Vegas, root against LA, see what happens.
Yep.
Where are we? Okay, so we done with Anaheim.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, okay,
yeah.
I'm good.
Bennington, not great. That was my only comment.
Another bad game for Bennington.
Bad game from him.
I just hope for him
until
again.
The shootout.
I don't think great in the shootout. I will say I don't have hopes they're going to make the playoffs anymore. I think at this point it's pretty much a long shot. I just want Bennington to end the season strong. I want him to come back to form and have some confidence going into the summer.
So there's been some coach Joel Quenneville. I should just say Joel Quenneville. He's not a coach right now.
Yeah, former coach.
Joel Quenneville. Rumors are the speculation that Joel Quenneville might be allowed to coach again starting this offseason. I'm not sure where that's coming from. He had an interview on the Strick and the Cam and Strick podcast.
He seems to be on a comeback tour right
now. Like he's getting interviews.
He was at the Kelly Chase puck cancer event Friday.
Yeah, posed with a picture with Tim Peel. 2 classy guys, Tim Peel and Joel Quenneville.
Wonderful guys. 2 of the best in the hockey industry, let me tell you.
2 gems.
Yeah.
So Quenneville was pretty much forced to resign in disgrace before the season started when he, shortly after being hired by the Florida Panthers, after it came out that he was part of a sexual assault cover-up when he coached the Blackhawks during his first cup run there. As if a few years removed from that situation makes everything okay, right? In my opinion, anything short of 100% outrage with everyone in that meeting that the Blackhawks held is mind-boggling to me.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of people say, well, everyone deserves second chances. I'm like, I'll tell you what, Quenneville is not in jail. There's no, his second chance is he's rich. He's a rich man living out his, life in, where's he at in Florida? Probably living in Florida now. He's got a good life. Well, what's second chance to coach in the NHL? That's a privilege. It's not a right.
Can we hang on? Can we make a comment? Quenneville's basically already on. He was already on his second chance. DUI? Did we just forget about that?
Oh,
he had a DUI when he was coaching the Avalanche and got fired. So
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So he was already on his second chance. And guess what? He fucked that up even harder. So to me, yeah, I'm all for second chances. Quenneville will be on his third chance at this point.
You know what? The second chance thing, it's like, what his punishment was like, he can't coach in the NHL. I'm sorry, but I mean, he's not in jail. He's a rich man who can't coach in the NHL anymore. Boo-hoo.
Plus,
you know what I mean?
Old man. He's old. Like, retire. Call it a career.
But I'm like, people who say, he deserves a second chance. I'm like, like his life is so bad right now that he needs a second chance to whatever. Okay. Everyone in that meeting should be responsible, right?
So, okay, let's real quick. Let's lay out this meeting because Bill, I know you did too. I don't know about you, Kurt. Bill and I actually reread.
Oh yeah, I did
the entire investigation today.
I did. The independent.
It's
independent.
Like,
investigation.
yeah, the independent investigation.
26, 36 pages.
Oh no, it's like 80.
Oh, was it?
85 pages. Yeah,
it was over 100.
I guess I read the Cliff Notes. I don't know.
No, we read. I mean, because I think it's like about 69 to 70 pages of like just the content. The rest is like the citations,
69 pages on a sexual assault investigation.
Oh, Kurt, you had to go there, didn't you?
Come on, they did that on purpose. Someone knew what they were doing.
No, so we we read through it today just to make sure for this discussion we weren't saying anything incorrect. And I'll say this too. I know that he was on Strickland and Cam show, and he basically said, I don't remember anything. My mind is a complete clean slate from 2010, which is complete bullshit, by the way. But and that's where everybody's like, oh, listen to the interview. He says he doesn't remember if that happened. I don't give a shit. I'm sorry. If you read the report, in talking specifically about this meeting, so this meeting happened. The Blackhawks had, so this event happened while the Sharks and Blackhawks were playing in the Western Conference Final. They called him John Doe in the report, but obviously it was Kyle Beach. Told a teammate. Then he told, was it Ray Vincent, Bill, the other coach that he told? Drawn a blank on the name of the coach. But either way, he told one of the coaches.
Aldrich was the name of the video coach who was in.
Yes.
Aldrich was the offender.
Yes. Video coach.
So Kyle Beach went and told this teammate, and the teammate and him also told this coach. So this other coach goes in, basically tells everyone important with the Blackhawks. They have a meeting after the Blackhawks beat the Sharks in the Western Final. The game's ended. It's like an hour after the game. They all get called into this office. They start meeting, and this is by all accounts, and they say, hey, this happened. Holy shit, this is a big deal. Somebody call Joel. Get Joel Quenneville in here. He needs to hear this. So then Quenneville comes in, and this is where it gets a little more mucky because Quenneville doesn't remember anything. So basically, Quenneville says that he doesn't think that Kyle Beach's name was mentioned, nor was it mentioned what happened with Brad Aldrich. And then it was said, which everyone else said that is not true, basically, that everybody mentioned the names over and over and what happened. Quenneville's the only one who said that he doesn't remember if it did or not. And then everybody says basically that that Quenneville a couple people even said, became irritated and made the comment, it is so hard to get where we're at. We need to focus on the team right now and deal with this later. Quenneville says he doesn't remember saying that.
It was Quenneville and McDonough. McDonough being the highest ranking executive there.
And two other people, right? Two other people in the meeting said that Quenneville said that it was they
direct quote, and I've got them right here. The direct quotes from the report itself says Bowman. This is Stan Bowman, GM at the time of the Blackhawks. Bowman recalled that during the meeting, McDonough and Quenneville made comments about the challenge of getting to the Stanley Cup Finals and a desire to focus on the team and the playoffs. We got a couple more. This one was from. This is the coach Gary. Gary's his last name. I can't remember his first name. But he said that
he was the
during
psychological
this meeting,
coach.
That's right, the psych coach. Yeah. So he was the one that said Quenneville appeared angry and was concerned about upsetting team chemistry. Also, according to the director of human resources, Gary recalled that they, talking about the people in this meeting, decided to hold off talking to Aldrich about the situation until the season was over. And then Bowman also recalled that after learning, and this is again a direct quote, after learning of the incident, Quenneville shook his head and said that it was hard for the team to get to where they were and they could not deal with this issue right now. I'm sorry, you have multiple people saying Quenneville basically said, sweep it under the rug because we need to focus on the Stanley Cup final. I'm sorry. Like you said, Kurt, if the only reaction is pure outrage, that's okay. The only reaction is get Aldrich's ass in this office right now and let's get this figured out. Or let's call HR in the morning and see what we should do.
Right.
None of that was done by anybody. So to me, they're all guilty.
And so the thing that stuck out to me in this is that Aldrich, in this report, it's made clear, Aldrich was a direct report of Joel Quenneville. Like if you talk about corporate hierarchy, right? Quenneville was Aldrich's boss. He reported to him, right? It's not your typical corporate gig, so video coach reports to head coach. But, if I had an employee that I found out did something really, really bad, but we're in crunch time, I'm going to deal with that, right? I'm not going to say, oh man, we fought so hard to get here. We'll deal with this in a couple of weeks, right? That's not the right thing to do.
Well, I made the same kind of comments to you guys before the show when we were talking about this, that it's like for me, so I've got a pretty big deadline for my job coming up next Friday. Let's say tomorrow I sexually harass one of my fellow employees, and then my boss finds out, hey, just you need to, we're doing reports now. Jeff sexually harassed employee A, and his response, if his response is, we got this deadline on next Friday, let's worry about it after that. Fired. Like he is gone with me if that happens.
Okay, if it's not bad enough that it was decided to sweep it under the rug until playoffs were over, if that's not bad enough, then when playoffs were over, what happened? They won the cup. Aldrich got his name on the cup, had a day with the cup, party with players after they won it. This was not dealt with right after they won the cup. He was allowed to celebrate all this. And then what eventually happened with him and the Blackhawks? They gave him the choice. They came to him and said, okay, either we conduct an investigation or you resign, you quit. And he decided to quit. And that was all they did. They basically did nothing. They just said, well, you can't work here anymore. That, to me, is the punishment there does not fit the crime whatsoever. And then we can get into the whole thing where Quenneville had wrote him a
hang on,
performance review.
The other thing I loved about the report too that I read that I didn't hear before, well, I did because I read the report before, but it just seemed like a minor detail at the time, that he was allowed to go in on cleanout day with everybody else there, and he just like cleaned out his locker and was basically like, yeah, I'm leaving because I can't handle the travel. Like, that's why I'm quitting. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. You're letting this dude come back around the team after you knew he sexually assaulted a player, and he's able to just come back willy-nilly even after he's agreed to go? I mean, there's so many things that happen here that's like, I'm sorry, Joel Quenneville at that time, and I'm not just pinning it on him, it's everyone. But if Joel Quenneville sees him walking in on cleanout day, I'd be like, get the fuck out. What are you doing here? You don't belong here.
Very minimum. All you have to do is deactivate his badge and make sure he doesn't get access, right?
Yeah.
Tell the security guards, not today. He doesn't come in today.
And that's what a lot of businesses will do. They'll schedule time for you to come in and get your belongings when nobody else is there.
Or they'll just FedEx them to you.
Yeah,
right.
That too.
It's it's simple to put somebody on administrative leave and say, and that's what should have happened. After that meeting, they should have said he's on administrative leave till the end of the playoffs. We'll deal with it then. But what they said was, we're going to stick our head in the sand and ignore this whole thing until the playoffs are over.
What he did was a crime. Yeah. It was a fucking crime.
Right.
And they didn't report it to anybody.
Right. McDonough didn't go into HR. They didn't report it to the necessary people in their organization until after it was done. Right. Until the playoffs were over. And it is, you're right. It's a crime. It is a violation of the Illinois Human Rights Act.
And did this occur in Illinois or in California? Because I'm pretty sure that's the same act they have enacted in California, if I remember looking it up correctly.
Well,
so either way, it doesn't matter.
It's definitely an Illinois employer.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. No, I was going to say too, like the fact that they did nothing. The reason they did nothing, the reason they didn't even go to their own HR was because they knew HR would have been like, "You got to get rid of him now."
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way they were going to do that because
but you know
Quenneville and others were all saying we have to focus on winning the Stanley Cup. Be damned, Black Ace, who got sexually molested. We need to focus on winning a Stanley Cup. That's where the issue is.
Wasn't it reported? Wasn't it basically that all the players knew about it? The players knew that.
Oh, there was talks that the next training camp they were making fun of him for it in the locker room.
So why would firing him at the moment that they found out be an issue if everyone knew? And besides, he's a fucking video coach. Nobody knew who the fuck he was. Probably 99% of the Hawks fans probably didn't know who he was. They didn't know who this guy was. So who gives a fuck? You fire the video? Hey, why are you protecting a video coach? There's no
the guy that was.
They didn't want distractions.
But if all
Jamie Compon,
if the entire team knew about it, though, if the entire team knew about it, it wouldn't be shocking or surprising, right? They would. Oh, well, yeah, that's not surprising.
Right.
And then go about your business. Who cares?
Right. And the report made it clear that not a lot of people like the guy. He was considered a creep.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the players. There was multiple players in that report I read that was like there was Rockford Ice Hog coach players who said like we don't like that guy. He's creepy. Like they called him like a pee toucher or something, and it was just like, good Lord, like it's clear everyone was uncomfortable around this guy.
You know what? Hockey, the hockey culture has an extremely bad reputation for things like this that's come out in the last handful of years. Primarily. So, we on the outside of, high level hockey and what goes on behind closed doors may seem shocking and appalling to us, but maybe that, in this meeting, maybe they were like, well, it's just another one of these incidents happening. We'll deal with it later.
Right. Going back to Aldrich, right? Like the description, what I found, kind of interesting in the whole thing was the description of his hiring is like pure like inside guy, right? His dad was buddy of the Sharks general manager, who was Doug Wilson, right? Unnamed. Doug Wilson, former Blackhawk,
but he
makes
was the
a recommendation.
For 25 years,
right? Makes a recommendation to take a look at the resume of this kid that's coaching at Notre Dame, and he gets the job. Right? Stan Bowman calls him, interviews him, gives him the job. Right? That that's entitlement, right? There's so much entitlement through this whole thing. As entitled as Jeff's cat's tail is, too.
and
great.
Yeah, we can move
He's
on.
Trying to hide from the kitten.
We can move on to the lack of serious action by the Blackhawks.
Right,
leads to him getting hired somewhere else.
Right.
And he has sexually assaulted a high school kid.
So let's discuss, because it purely talking about Quenneville at this point, right? Because I mean, that's the basis. So again, I'm going to read directly from the report here, because there was some communication about letter of recommendation.
Yes.
I will add, and Bill, I think you agree with this after reading the report we talked earlier. I don't think there was ever an actual letter of recommendation. I think that phrase was thrown around, but it wasn't technically what happened. What happened was he received performance reviews and was allowed to share those with potential employers. So real quick, here's what the report specifically said about his performance review from Joel Quenneville. Quote, in his last performance evaluation dated June 29th, 2010, after Aldrich had separated from the team, but unsigned by Quenneville and Aldrich, Quenneville wrote, Aldrich did a great job for the coaching staff in preparing us for all of our meetings and coordinating several tasks that we forward his way. Brad has several people relying on him at the same moment and as a way of deflecting and accommodating everyone at once. Congrats on winning the Stanley Cup. When interviewed, Quenneville stated that he did not recall whether he wrote the June 29th, 2010 evaluation of Aldrich or if he knew whether Aldrich had been separated at the time, but did not dispute that he may have written the evaluation. He further stated that the review looked to him like something he would write. And Bill, I will say, we talked before the show, and reading this now, it just came to me. We were like, well, then maybe his way of saying, like, well, I don't want to, make it seem like I'm giving him a job, I'm not going to sign it. I'm thinking it wasn't signed by him or Aldrich, because this was submitted after he left the team.
Right. This to be smacks of something that it's HR policy that all employees of the organization have to have an HR review and just put something on paper, and so we have something for the file, right? And there was one report from the lawsuit from the lawyer representing the high school student Houghton, Michigan, that alleged that Aldrich was given recommendations by the Blackhawks, but that never came out, and that could be because that got settled. But that there's nothing to substantiate that there was an actual letter of recommendation written. But certainly in my line of work, when you are subject of serious misconduct and you leave your job, that gets reported. So maybe I have this ideal of a loftier standard that you want to get the bad people out of the industry. And the Hawks didn't do a fucking thing to do that. No. Right? They let this go on, and a 16-year-old kid got raped. And that's the part I can never get over from this. And
that is my point 100%. If you want to give him a second chance on screwing over Kyle Beach and not reporting anything, I could probably find my way there. Not yet, but maybe in the future. Okay, the dude learned
because it was after the fact, right?
Right.
Quenneville maybe couldn't have prevented
this. I'm sorry. If you know that this guy, which I'm sorry, I don't care what Quenneville says on any show ever, he knew at this point what was going on with Aldrich. And if he didn't, he's just as bad of a manager for burying his head in the sand and not asking questions. But
because he didn't want to know. If he didn't know, he didn't want to know. And that's bad. That's bad.
So don't write this review of your employee if you know it's any possibility this could help him land another job. And guess what? It did. It helped him land a job with high school kids. You released a sexual predator on high school kids because of your fucking performance review from one of the winningest coaches in NHL history. And again, somebody, I think it was Dan Riley, our friend on Twitter, commented like, well, maybe HR said you have to put something down. It doesn't have to be positive.
Right. I think that's the case, but I also think that speaks to the atmosphere around the Blackhawks, that they were going to be able to suppress this. This was never going to see the light of day.
But why? But I don't know. Like after the fact, after it's already happened, I get that. Oh, it might make us look bad, but you know what makes you look a whole lot worse when it comes out later.
Not painting it bad.
Yeah.
Right. All Quenneville had to do was nothing. I refuse to submit a performance review. But
what did I say to
instead,
Dan?
the last thing says, "Congratulations on the Stanley Cup."
Yeah, fuck off, Q. Jesus Christ. Yeah, and what did I say to Dan on Twitter? I think I just said you could use a quote like, "I refuse to comment on Brad's job performance," you know. And if HR pushes back then still and says, "Hey, you gotta say something," then I'm calling the Blackhawks legal team and I'm saying, "Tell me what to write." Like,
right?
Hey,
there's this whole cover-up thing that we did.
Yeah,
and they want to tell they're telling me that I have to say something nice.
He clearly did not do the right thing here. To me, and again, I agree with you. Nothing is better in this situation. Put nothing down. But if you have to put something, don't make it positive. Say Brad left on bad terms.
Right. There was a reason he was left. I'm not going to get into that because I don't feel it's appropriate.
Yeah. There's so many things he could have done, and he didn't do it. And guess what? Indirectly, yes, he released this guy on a 16-year-old, and he fucking sexually assaulted him too. So to me, your second chance is gone, Quenneville. Get the fuck out, and you should never be allowed in an NHL rink again.
And when this happened, years passed. So I mean,
10 years.
It never occurred to him that I wonder. I guess when people said they'd handle it, I guess nothing was ever handled, and that was it. And okay, well, I guess I'm innocent of everything. Even the issues I have with Quenneville are, in short, when he was annoyed when he was told about the incident, and he insisted to be swept under the rug so they can concentrate on the playoffs. That's bad. And then the review is really bad. And then him saying that he doesn't recall anything about the meeting, more or less, that's bad. And he could have done anybody in that meeting. They're all equally to blame. And to say, I know it's been said too that who was it? Bowman said he would handle it, or I'll handle it. And then nothing was ever done.
Yep.
And
McDonough was the guy that said he was going to handle it.
Yep.
So it's like,
8 years ago, I was laid off from a job that I loved and thought I'd be there forever. And I know it's a little bit of a different situation, but I remember every single minute. Time, literally, if you look this up, it's true. In your mind, time slows down in moments like this to where you can remember every little bit of the conversation. I remember getting pulled into this office. I remember every word said between me and the HR director and my boss, and getting told what my severance was, and getting told that they appreciate my work and all this shit. I remember everything said, everything I said. I remember getting in the car. I remember everything. It's all still there like it was yesterday. You're telling me Joel Quenneville doesn't remember a fucking thing about this meeting? That is a meeting. Hey, your fucking assistant coach raped one of your players. You're telling me that his mind is not, whoa, hang on a second. His is, no, I don't remember. I don't remember any of it. Oh,
you would think that's a conversation to remember, right? That's a pretty significant conversation.
Yes. Right. To me, like the whole idea is that he was so angry that he couldn't process it. Right. That's ultimately his defense. I couldn't deal with it at that time because I was so close. Like, I loved Quenneville when he was here, and he had some shitty luck as the coach of the Blues. That bouncing to San Jose, Mellenby's kid getting the fucking locker room sick against Vancouver, right? should have won when he was here and didn't. Was I a little bit happy that they won, that he won when he went to Chicago? A very little bit. He was the only guy I rooted for in that whole situation. But now I regret that, because this whole thing just, there are few opportunities to climb the mountain and peak it, and he sold everything out for that opportunity. And at the end of the day, everybody, not just Quenneville, everybody that was involved in that meeting should not be employed in hockey ever again, because they didn't do enough to stop this guy, and he went out and he raped a 16-year-old kid.
I think Quenneville should feel lucky that he's just not coaching in the NHL. What would happen if you were upper management or whatever in a company, and you swept sexual assault under the table, and it was found out? You'd be prosecuted. You'd be railroaded. You'd be, I don't know. Is that can you go to jail for that? I don't know. But
some states have that Good Samaritan law, right? So if it happened in one of those states, he would be in prison.
Yeah, where did it happen to the Seinfeld crew? The Good Samaritan law, the final
episode?
In
Delaware.
Yeah. So I'm like, so we'll circle back to him possibly getting a second chance in the NHL. I'm like, well, as it was noted before in the show, I mean, what you said, Bill, this would be a third chance, or you, Jeff, chance.
Said it. Yeah,
third chance because of the DUI. I mean, he's had a second chance already.
There's been a lot of chatter around basically his welcome back tour will be with the Blues. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for you, but I'm going to tell you right now, if he were to rejoin the Blues this summer, I'm not part of the show anymore. As long as he's coaching, I'm not even going to watch the Blues. I can't do it. This is the one time where a fan will say that, and I don't think it's only going to be me, where I would say that and be like, I'm sorry, I'm done. I can't watch this team with Quenneville coaching them. I wouldn't be able to do it.
It would be rough. It'd be, we just joked about, how we wouldn't root for Kane if he came here right back in the day.
That's right.
So
I still would.
He just slapped up a cabbie.
Right. So we were like all anti-Kane, and we can't root for him when he comes here. But if he comes here, this is next level stuff. I mean, I would have no problem rooting against whoever he coached hard. But man, if he came here, Jesus Christ, that's like worst case scenario for me, you, us. I mean, I wouldn't even want to do this show.
No. So that would suck. I love this show. I mean, maybe we would just have to do a different kind of podcast.
I hope you guys enjoy men's league talk every week and pickleball.
Yes, we can have a pickleball and beer league podcast.
We can live stream. Well, you guys can take it up. It's a great sport. I'll teach you guys how to play it. You guys can get really good. We'll do tournaments. Oh yeah, we'll do it all.
No, it pains me, and I will say I will still. I've got 2 Blues tattoos on my body. They're not going anywhere. They're going to be there forever because there's much meaning behind both of them. But as long as if he were to come here and coach the Blues, I can't support the team as long as he's here. The minute he's gone, I'm right back to being a Blues fan. But while he's coaching here, I would pick another team. I just couldn't do it.
Who would you pick?
That's a great question. I might have to go by player, like who my favorite players are.
My cousin did that.
It might be like Florida for Matthew Tkachuk.
Okay, Florida's one. My cousin did that. He was a players guy over team guy, and then the players retired, and he lost interest in hockey altogether.
Yeah, so I was like that with Pronger. I was a bigger Pronger fan than I was Blues fan.
Oh wow. I was always team guy first. Yeah.
I still rooted for the Blues, but Pronger was my guy, and I was like, and I'll root for the Blues over Pronger. But when it came to like playoffs, I was like Pronger all the way.
Me too. His runs at Edmonton, Anaheim, sure. Yeah, I was rooting for him.
But your cousin's rooting thing didn't really hold true because when Gretzky came to St. Louis,
that's true.
He didn't give a fuck.
His comment was, "I hope Gretzky gets a hat trick every night and the Blues lose 4-3." That's what he said.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, but the whole Patrick Waugh thing, right?
Yeah,
big Montreal fan until he goes to Colorado, then he's a huge Colorado fan.
Yep.
But
Mike
always
Leon
a Patrick Waugh
wants me to
fan.
Always a Patrick Waugh fan, sure. Yeah.
Mike Leon, listener Leon, wants me to do weekly recaps of our beer league. So I don't know. Maybe that's what I would do. Who knows?
Just to talk to the facility and set up a live stream camera that you can stream the entire game.
So I had a talk with a guy. He's not there anymore, but there was like an assistant manager type guy. He really wanted to do he was calling it like This Week in Beer League or something. And it was literally like he wanted me to host. He's like, we'll pay you. You just come in, you'll interview like a player from different nights on the week. And like, you'll have a weekly show just talking about all the different games here at Midwest. And I'm like, I would love to do that, but I just don't think I have the time.
Yeah. Do you know what was cool? And, we, back when the Drop Hockey show was cool, they did what's his name? His son came and Logan set up shop, at the Ponder Cup, right? And, he live streamed stuff and he was doing interviews with players after the games, before the games, and talking about just whatever. And that was fun. That was cool. That was neat.
Yeah.
And for the longest time that was on YouTube. I think they took it down though. But
yeah, dude, when he showed up at our, I think it was it the first or second Ponder Cup. Yeah, he like interviewed players. He had like different cameras set up so you could watch
lighting.
the different parts of the game. He had the lighting. It was set up right in front of the games, and it was really cool. It was man, I remember like professional.
Yeah, after I played a game, I skated off, and he kind of said, "Hey, come sit down and talk." And so I sat and talked, and I was all sweaty and still in my gear and everything from playing. And we had an hour off before the next game or whatever. So it was just kind of cool. I'm still out of breath, right, from playing. Asked me questions about the game and stuff, and I think I had a goal in that game, so I was talking about that. That was just, it was neat. It was fun. It was just like, oh, this is like little big league.
Don Chambers says, good night, fellas. Great game tonight. Really nice listening to your show. Let's go Blues. Don, I don't know if you're a regular listener, but in case you're not, we do podcast this show as well. So make sure you find us on your favorite podcasting app, not Google Podcasts, unfortunately.
They're migrating, or they have migrated to a YouTube podcast,
Music.
So. YouTube Music, and they have podcast section, yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, Don, thanks for listening. Thanks for chiming in. We love hearing from you, and hopefully you can find us out.
Happy
birthday. Happy 63rd. The big Jake Neighbors. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had his Jake Neighbors birthday tonight.
As Frosty the Snowman would say in the animated version, happy birthday. You recall that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right.
God, this is ridiculous. My big, fat 14-year-old cat, who's behind me right now, he is trying to hide from the kitten because the kitten keeps biting him. So that's why you keep seeing him jump up. He's such a baby.
Wow. Baby, the adult getting bullied by the baby.
Yeah, he is very much bullied by him, and it's ridiculous. It's like, dude, you're like 9 times his size.
What happened to the Blues' easy schedule? We play Friday versus Carolina, Sunday versus Seattle, and Wednesday at Dallas. I mean, that's to close out the season, right? Last 3 games for the Blues. So 2 tough ones.
I don't think I want to look this up. So I'm going to say that this is a first just because. When was the last time the Blues opened and closed the season away in the same arena?
Ask St. Louis Blues history. I don't know. I have no idea how to look that up.
I'm going to say it's the first time ever.
Okay. All right.
I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, the Blues did have, as far as strength of schedule goes, they had a really easy one, but now it's like the last 3 games, it's like, ooh, this is, and they pretty much have to win all 3. And like we talked about, hopefully Vegas only gets 3 points in their final 4 games. So definitely possible. Not likely though, but
hey, if it happens, what a fucking miracle, right?
I mean, you know,
like even just getting it, and I know some fans will be like, "Oh, they're gonna get swept. Fuck that." It's like, dude, just getting in would be awesome for this team. I just think about Will Duke and Dean getting their first taste,
right? And just so that we could all say, "Fuck you, Dom."
Yeah, that too. And plus, like, you're probably knocking out the Golden Knights, which that would be incredible.
Right. No defending champion.
Yeah.
And they say Stone is probably not going to return at all. So,
we'll see. I'll believe it when I see it.
No miracle. Game 1 of the playoffs, he's ready to go. Apparently, that's what the rumor is.
That's so sad.
So long show. This is and Mike Leon. Yes, I love playoff hockey. That is in a nutshell. Those 4 words, right? That's the reason enough to root for a team to sneak in.
This might be the first time I'm ever giving it to listener Leon. I'm giving you comment of the show, sir. That those 4 simple words.
I love playoff hockey, and that's all. That's the only reason you need to give. You can get into deep conversations about draft picks and this and that. It's like bullshit. Shut the fuck up. Playoff hockey is awesome. If it's squeaking in or just missing, I want to squeak in every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time.
And I think it's fun too because like going against Colorado in 2022, I think it's pretty well known now the Blues were their best chance against the Avalanche,
and we wouldn't have had the water bottle story.
I know, and I will say too that like I didn't give the Blues much of a chance in that series. I actually thought they were going to get swept, but even if they got swept, I would have enjoyed every fucking minute of that series because it's playoff hockey.
We've talked about it, the atmosphere during the day of a playoff game, like when you're at work or whatever, you wake up, it's game time tonight. Anything can happen. We'll see what happens. Something cool usually happens at some point in a playoff series that you remember for the rest of your life. And
it's that lull between the regular season and playoffs too. There's usually a couple days
build up,
and it's just like every day you're waking up, you're like, okay, 2 more days, one more day.
How can they get some wins against this team? How can they do it? Yeah.
Yep.
It's good stuff. I don't understand people who don't want that. I don't think they understand. I don't know.
Yep.
Maybe people just don't love hockey as much as we do.
Maybe.
That's got to be it.
We do have a hockey podcast. That does make us love hockey.
That's true. 13 years now, right? It is.
And
something.
Bill is 67 years old and getting back into playing hockey. So, what does that tell you?
It tells me that Kurt's 70 then.
Yeah. If Bill is 67 years old, all of his equipment's dry rotted.
Yeah,
that's true.
So.
Except that I've been accumulating all new stuff.
Right.
All new stuff.
We did have a guy jump in and play roller for the first time, and he said, I think 21 years. He was apparently like a supreme level high school player. And so he just picked it up again after 21 years, jumped on the rink, never skated at all, didn't even touch his equipment. It was just sitting in his basement. And he played like half a period, and then his fucking the bottom of his boot of his skate just dropped out. And he was like, oh, I don't have skates anymore, guys. I can't play anymore. And we're like, did you not think that was a possibility? And he's like, yeah, this is pretty bad. I should have thought of that.
That's rough.
We can do rapid fire tidbits from around the NHL.
Yeah, it's a big deal, but we'll probably have more information next week. So I imagine we can probably go through this pretty quickly.
Yeah, the Coyotes are likely to move to Salt Lake City as early as next season. This is fairly new news.
This came out today.
Yeah, I'm like, Utah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been speculated for a little while. I think
but I never took it serious as a Coyotes
group. The Smith Entertainment Group has been putting out like, if we got an NHL team, what would you name it?
Smith in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Oh no!
Descendants of Joseph Smith.
Oh, dum.
Did they read this out of a hat?
So the gold bars are changing.
I think who was it? Wyshynski pretty much said this is a done deal.
Yeah.
So it's going to happen.
Saravalli was the first tweet that I saw.
I just saw Wyshynski say it. So
Saravalli hedged. Wyshynski, I think, was more. This is a done deal.
Okay,
and it makes sense. Just get Arizona wants to reinstitute and has reinstituted a 100-plus-year-old abortion law. Apply it to the Coyotes. Abort them.
Oh man!
Well, if they apply to the Coyotes, that would mean that they can't move.
All right. So,
really?
Get them the fuck out of Arizona.
25-year abortion? Is that what this would be?
I don't think that law doesn't go into effect for a little bit yet. There's like a grace period, so they need to get out now.
Right. Yeah. So they should, and we should all recognize that the greatest contribution that the Coyotes franchise has given to the NHL was Austin Matthews.
That's true. That is a great point.
What about losing a Game 7 to the Blues?
That's a little more localized here. Yeah, Turgeon.
They have never won a playoff round as the Coyotes, or they've won one.
No,
they will.
I don't.
They've
won two. They've won two.
Yeah, because they were against
went
the
to the Western
Blackhawks.
Finals.
That's right. But they haven't won. They haven't won a playoff round in a long ass time.
Yeah.
They got to the Western Conference Finals against the Hawks.
Yep. So they're saying this could happen as early. They're thinking next season. Like this is Atlanta Thrashers bought and sold. Gone in a matter of days. That's what they're thinking could happen here.
How bad does this make Bettman look? Because he was it seemed like he wanted to have the Coyotes here in Arizona.
It was like his baby.
For years, and there's rumors, got to move them. Nope. They'll play at Arizona State. We'll play until they get a stadium built. Nope, we'll keep them. And it was just nope. The market's good. We want them there. They weren't drawing fans. They can't get a new place built, even though was it Gila Arena or whatever it was called. I don't know how old it is or how or why they need a new one, but the outside of it looked amazing. Maybe it was location.
No, location.
It's location.
It
looked cool.
It's like if the Blues decided they needed a new arena and built it in Wentzville.
Yeah. I would
never
even
go.
Or Cuba.
I would even go as far to say Wright City, to be quite honest, because it's apparently the fuck out there.
Yeah. Yeah, for those of us on the Illinois side, it requires us to cross two rivers. Yeah, I can only do that twice a year.
There's a Midwest comedian who says, whenever you want to go anywhere local, you never cross two Culvers. And I'm like, yep, that's true.
That's very, yeah. That would be like 12 Culvers.
Yeah, that's a lot of Culvers.
I like Culvers. They're good burgers.
Oh, great burgers. If they would like to sponsor Let's Go Blues Radio, let'sgoblues.com.
Welcome to Delicious.
Right. We hope you are also anti-Joel Quenneville.
They are pro-dog. Pup cups.
Yeah.
Great place.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cups.
It makes me mad at Quenneville, just to revisit that even more, because I wanted to like him so bad. And if this whole thing had never happened with Kyle Beach and the video coach, and it was rumored he'd be coming back here, I'd be ecstatic. I'd be like, yes. But now it's like, nope. I have morals. I have a standard, and it's not that high, but it's definitely higher than this. This is pretty low. So
I think Leon says this. I'm going to try to do it in my best impersonation. Hello, Newmanin.
Hello, Jerry.
May I say that's gold.
That's gold,
Jerry.
That's gold. Yeah, I'm with you, man.
I'm out.
I told the story on the show that I met him when I had a broken leg as a high school hockey player.
Ray Knight? Is it Wayne Knight? Wayne Knight. Oh. I meant Wayne Knight.
And he was the fucking nicest dude in the world, and it made me just love him. And it broke my heart when this all went down. I'm like, I can't believe that's the same man that I met that talk to me for 15 minutes about how I shouldn't give up my dreams of playing in the NHL.
Well, he was the same guy that grabbed his crotch on the bench at the Blackhawks, though.
But that was awesome. I loved that.
It was here in St. Louis because it was the parking spot.
Yeah.
Ad behind him.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so I guess to be continued with the Joel Quenneville thing. If he coaches somewhere, I hope to God it's not here. I hope it's not anywhere, but I hope it's not here. If it is here, I don't know. We'll see what happens with this stuff.
Welcome to your pickleball podcast.
We may pause the show for a while.
Rebrand.
Protest. Yeah,
rebrand.
Yeah, we might need to figure out another thing to do. Like I feel like we still keep the show going
with Jeff Ponder.
Let me tell you, my wife would love that.
We could do that. I was gonna do a show that's pro whatever team the Blues are playing each night.
We still have to watch the Blues though.
Yeah, I know.
It would be awkward, like Let's Go Sens radio. Yeah.
I feel like I'd still cheer for the Blues, but I would hate myself for it. That's the boat I'd be in, I think.
That's why I would just turn it off. I'm just not even going to watch it.
I can't. I would, especially if they're good.
But Bake Beaver brings up a great point here. He says, Red Wings Berube podcast. That is the team I would love to choose because they've got so many former Blues on it, but I can't root for the damn Red Wings.
Yeah, I hear you, but it's the Red Wings. I can't. Detroit.
And I would have to boycott the show if he didn't retain at least assistant coach Jay Verity that I played with in
Freddy's.
True. So
Justin Scott says you guys
ever had Freddy's? Yes, I've had it. It's very good.
It's delicious. Although I will say this about Freddy's, it's just a more expensive Steak and Shake.
It is.
Yeah,
but
it's still good.
They got high quality items.
Very good. It's very good. They have more dessert. They have more dessert options. Custard, ice cream, whatever it is. I do really enjoy that. They have better, but Steak and Shake, better shakes. So,
agree.
It's $5 shake.
Leon, he says, guys, forget Q. Davis Payne is squeaky clean. Yes, that's true. We can still go get Davis Payne.
Wow, that would seem like a. I don't know, man.
Hey, when we started this show, Davis Payne was head coach of the St. Louis Blues.
He was.
Yes, he was.
That's right.
Right.
For a short while.
And ever since then, it's been apparently the Ken Hitchcock show, even after he was let go.
Yeah, right. Apparently. Which we didn't really know, and that wasn't really discovered until, recently. I mean,
well, I'll say I think we'll have more information on the Coyotes' possible move next week. So, because again, that story broke today, so we'll talk about that more next week. We kind of went long with the Blackhawks game and then the Quenneville stuff, and I think it was the best show we've had in a week, guys.
In a
best
week,
show for sure. Best show all week,
for sure.
Yes.
For sure. All right, you ready to shut her down, boys?
What other option do we have, Earl?
None. Is that a pickleball post? I just see I moved off the screen.
Put you on a pickle, Ponder. Ooh, that's say that 10 times fast.
Put you in a pickle, Peter Piper.
Nope.
You
lose. Good day, sir. I say good day, sir.
Let's Go Blues Radio has been brought to you in part by Rockin' That ID Life. Get 10% off by emailing Dustin at rockinthatidlife@gmail.com and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you, and by realtor Mike Burgoyne. Give Mike a call today at 314-753-4060 for all of your home buying and selling needs. That's 314-753-4060. That'll wrap up episode 27 of season 13 of the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, which, according to the counter, 144 of you have checked us out tonight. And thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Jeff Ponder, Bill Day, and wherever producer Austin is, I'm Kurt Price. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
Roar Bacon. Let's go Blues.
Fuck Joel Quenneville. Let's go Blues.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available.
A look at sports.
I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to number one. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the ice tonight again. They're rough and tough and got the stuff to win. They'll always get one more, no matter what the score. They are quite a hockey team, my friend.